And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week here on YurView.com. Tonight, the Edmond Sante Fe Wolves are at the Mustang Broncos. I'm Steve Marshall. My friend is alongside, and Dylan is with us. And we are set to go here in a game between two teams that come in with a record of 1-0 apiece. And should be an interesting contest. Both teams ranked in the top 10.
Yeah, we saw the first 2 weeks, a couple of ball games that got out of hand, but this one I think is on tap to be a close one. A lot of people are saying it could end up being really tight and even going down to the wire if possible. Edmond Sante Fe comes in, like you said, 1-0. So does Mustang. Both of them look really good on paper. This is only the second game for head coach Lee Blankenship at Mustang. It should be a really good contest, and I'm looking forward to seeing which team comes out on top.
A lot of these early games, of course, most all of them are non-district events here, so they don't really tend to give you a good idea as who's going to be placed where as far as playoffs are concerned. Those first three games are typically the non-district games, and then they get into the meat of it. But this is a game here between these two teams, both ranked in the top 10 coming into tonight's contest. Edmond Sante Fe at number 6 and Mustang at number 10. Mustang looked very good in their opening win as they defeated UConn by a score of 38-0. A very impressive score. I called UConn in their game last night against Moore, and their offense showed a lot to me anyway, even though they lost that game to the Moore Lions. But UConn was able to move the football, so obviously Mustang's defense must be quite stout. And then Sante Fe won one of the Edlem battles as they beat Edmond North in week 1 by a final score of 41-14. We're happy to be with you tonight. Hope you enjoy our webcast here this evening on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week, Mustang and Edmond Sante Fe. And it looks as though the Broncos will be set to kick it off away to Edmond Sante Fe. We had some weather issues last night. We actually started our game on the Cox channel an hour early, and boy, we just barely got it in on time. No such threat this evening, as you can see, even though some of the field is shaded, that there is still plenty of sunshine out there and rather warm, really. When I was out a little bit earlier this afternoon, thinking that there was going to be some cloud cover, but a great night for football nonetheless, and we've got a very good matchup here, two of the best teams on the west side of the state.
Yeah, I was actually outside, and it rained for, I think, maybe about all of 45 seconds, and then it stopped. And never saw another drop fall from the clouds, so it's been sunny all day long, and it makes for a great atmosphere here on Friday night, and it should be a good ball game.
All right, Mustang set to kick it away, and we are ready to go here this evening. Hope you enjoy this contest here as we look into Game 2, Week 3 of high school football. And Mustang puts a foot into it, drives it back into the end zone. That's an automatic touchback, and the Sante Fe Wolves will bring it out to the 20-yard line. They will put it in play there. Lee Blankenship. A lot of people recognize that last name, of course, and very popular on the east side of the state. Taking over the Mustang Broncos after Jeremy Dombeck had led them for many years.
Did you see what he said at, I want to say it was his intro presser for being hired at Mustang? He said, a lot of people see that last name Blankenship, and he goes, but I'm not the Blankenship people think of. He goes, they always hear the last name Blankenship and see me and get disappointed.
First play from scrimmage. Handoff up the middle. Nice running room. Going to pick up a couple of yards on the play. Ball carrier for the Wolves is number 28, and that is Micah Snoddy. He is one of those guys that we will call his name a lot this evening. Coming into the contest, he has been one of the top ball carriers. 14 attempts in game 1, 65 yards, scored 2 touchdowns. Very quickly, Sante Fe back at it once again with their quarterback, Jorgen Olsen. And here's another handoff, first down yardage and then some, all the way out to the 43-yard line. And it's Snoddy once again, 2 consecutive calls in a row.
Well, one thing that's interesting is Edmond Sante Fe runs kind of a spread offense. They really come out of that shotgun formation a lot. So handing it off, you don't see it a whole lot. You said 14 carries last game. That's not a major amount by any means, but it's still a good amount. So you'll see him touch the ball quite a bit, but at the same time, you'll see that ball fly through the air a lot tonight too.
Quarterback keeper on this one breaks the tackle at the line of scrimmage and then is dropped. as Olsen, the ball carrier. Olsen in week 1 had 10 rushes for 105 yards and a touchdown. Nice defensive play there by the Mustang Broncos. And let's see what they call here on 2nd down and 9 after the 1-yard pickup by the quarterback. Going to roll it out to the left side. Jump pass, complete, far side of the field, out to about the 47. That'll pick up a few yards and still allow for a 3rd down and long situation just shy of the 50-yard line.
Early on, I like to tell the viewers who my players to watch for the night are. And tonight, I would say on the Edmond Sante Fe side of things, it's Talon Chetron, the wide receiver. He's been getting a lot of talent, or a lot of looks because of his talent. And those D1 teams are starting to call. And he's a big-name talent. He's only a sophomore. Jorgen Olsen, the quarterback, of course, and Colin Oliver on the defensive line for Edmond Sante Fe.
There's a complete pass to Brandon Caraway. That's going to be good enough for a 1st down. Looked like a quick slant there. Olsen hitting Caraway in stride. And that will keep the drive alive. The opening drive here in this ball game between Santa Fe and Mustang. Always a great facility to visit there at Mustang. They have the old press box, and then across the field on the other side, the brand new and sparkling press box. Here's a pass that's complete, spinning, twisting, getting inside the Mustang 30-yard line. And a nice job by the Santa Fe Wolves as they are slowly but surely working their way downfield. They'll spot the ball right at the 29-yard line.
Man, he just refused to go down, didn't he? He got through about 4 or 5 different tacklers there, putting a spin move on one of them. It looked like a good move, and man, he got a 1st down there and a great run after the catch. It was kind of a screen pass out to that right side. Good job to pick up the 1st down.
Broncos show blitz, keeper by Olsen. Beats the blitz and lunges forward inside the 20 down to about the 17-yard line. So the Wolves continue their impressive opening drive. Again, this Mustang team did not give up any points last week in their 38-0 win over UConn. You get a good look at the size of that Santa Fe offensive front there. Big number 75, Jonathan Ashford. Running play up the middle. Snoddy with the carry is going to get inside the 15 down to about the 13-yard line.
Well, one thing you've talked about before is as you move up the classes, you start to see those kids get a lot bigger. That's why we think it's kind of interesting when we're down there, those 3A divisions, and we're covering those ball games, and you still see kids who are 6'5", 300 pounds. It's something you'll see in 6A a lot more often, but down there it's really kind of surprising. But he's definitely a big load, and he'll probably create quite a few holes for these running backs as he's already done so far.
Penalty flag comes out before they actually run the play. And that may be a nice situation for Mustang as they try to regroup here as Santa Fe has taken the opening kickoff and driven it deep into Mustang territory. As we get a call from the referee on the far side as he pats one of the youngsters on the shoulder and sends him back to the sidelines. I don't know if that was an illegal substitution call or... To me, he's just raising the roof, right?
That's kind of what he was going for, maybe.
All right, they say 2nd and 4. Wolves on the march. And the ball at about the 12-yard line. They need to get just inside the 8 to get another 1st down. Olsen, the quarterback, out of the gun. Fakes to Snoddy, keeps it himself, rolls, now runs, gets inside the 5-yard line. Little sidestep, and he's going to get all the way down to the 2-yard line. And an impressive opening drive now for the Wolves. And anything less than coming away with 6 points here and a touchdown and an extra point opportunity would probably be a disappointment, as they have already chewed up over 4 minutes off this first quarter clock.
Well, that was something you don't really see at the high school level a lot. That was one of those RPOs. He kind of put the ball into his running back's hand, said, no, I'm not going to hand it off, took off towards the right side. Then he's got that option of whether he wants to throw it or he wants to run. Right there, chose run.
Running play, gets into the end zone, touchdown, no flags on the play. And Edmond Sante Fe, on the very opening drive of the football game, works 4 minutes and 19 seconds off the clock, gets into the end zone for the opening score. Very impressive as we take another look again.
Well, what they're exposing here is that Mustang clearly is having a hard time handling this rushing attack. And they got down the field, I want to say, with mostly runs. I mean, there was a couple of good pass plays, but most of them were short. Didn't really take any kind of big shots down the field. Great run right up the middle right there. Puts 6 points on the board, and Edmond Sante Fe is already putting up the first score against Mustang here in just the first quarter.
Extra point attempt is on the way. It's up and good, and after the opening drive is complete, a very impressive drive for the Edmond Sante Fe Wolves as they score, get the extra point, and they lead 7-0 here in the first quarter of your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. Kickoff coming back, Edmond Sante Fe to kick it away to Mustang when we return. Well, a very impressive drive by the Sante Fe Wolves as they go the length of the field without much problem, really, and get into the end zone and take the early 7-0 lead. Now set to kick it away. Number, well, it looks like 13, but I don't have a 13 in my roster. Kicking away for Edmond Sante Fe. This is going to go all the way to the 6-yard line. Mustang on the return goes up the middle, and a nice open field tackle there. Taken down by Jacoby Flowers. And Mustang will go to work first time on offense. Let's see what they have to offer here and how they're going to retaliate against what the Sante Fe Wolves just did to their defense.
Well, we've talked a lot about Mustang's defense having kept UConn scoreless last time out. We haven't really talked about the fact that their offense still put up 38 points in that game as well. They are a very good offense. They know how to put the ball into the end zone, and we'll see if they can find pay dirt here on this possession.
Trying to get to the outside, grabbed his jersey, and the fact that he was able to get 6 yards out of that play was really pretty good. Looked like he might be dropped in the backfield for a loss, but he just kept fighting, kept those legs churning, and is able to pick up some good yardage on the first down carry.
They're already quickly back up to the line, maybe trying to rush this defense a little bit, catch them off balance.
The quarterback is Hayden Conrad. Handoff right side. Dropped after a short gain on the play, maybe a half yard, not much more than that. Again, these are two top 10 ranked teams. West Side, of course, not very well represented in the top 5 as Norman slides in there at number 5. The other 4 schools, of course, in the top 4 are those East Side schools, but those two will knock each other off tonight as Broken Arrow plays Owasso and Union takes on Jenks in week 2, a traditional battle. So there's going to be some attrition after this week of games, and we'll see with interest, especially what happened to Jenks after giving up 57 points to Bixby last week.
Well, and also it bodes well for Edmond Sante Fe because last year they finished 5th in the standings behind those 4 East Side Giants. And if they can find that same success this year, and as you say, you know, these Big 4 teams are kind of taking each other out, and then Jenks losing to Bixby, it could end up being somewhere along the way. Maybe Edmond Sante Fe slides in if they can, again, finish like they did last year.
So our referee, after the flag, looking for the signal there. He's going to go over and talk to Coach Blankenship and explain the call to him. As the quarterback, Hayden Conrad, listens in. Still haven't seen the official call. Official timeout as both teams head towards their sidelines. And we'll take a timeout as well to continue our coverage here tonight between Edmond Sante Fe. The Wolves on top. They lead Mustang 7-0 on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week.
Our tradition for my football team is we dress up, shirt and tie. I had a tie, but I didn't know how to tie it. Usually I would have my dad help me, but he was deployed. I'm thinking, don't worry about it, my grandma should know.
He says, can you tie a tie? And I'm like, no. But we're on our way to Chick-fil-A.
I recognize them because they came into our store so much. Miss Bertha and Mr. Terrence, I'm like, of course, I'll help them out and show them how to tie a tie.
It wasn't just the tie, it's what was in your heart.
It's my pleasure. Doing good, man. You got it.
Welcome back, everybody. We are at Mustang tonight. Our YurView game of the week. Edmond Sante Fe took the opening kick and drove down the length of the field, put it in the end zone for a 7-0 lead. Mustang, their first time with the football. And on the first down play, a short gain before he stopped there, maybe 2 yards on the carry for the Broncos. Both teams very quick, no huddle offense. Empty backfield. Little swing pass to the outside, caught, and that's going to get near midfield. On the reception, number 10 for the Broncos coming up with the catch there, and that would be Khary Brown, 5'10", 180 senior. And that will roll to the right side, and a throw that's going to be, well, he caught it, but was he in bounds?
Ref says yes.
Looks like it. Nice grab on the far side of the field. That's William Haddix. And that's going to be, well, hold on. We got a flag. Flag back at the 45, so even though the pass was complete, it's going to be brought back. Pretty good throw and a great catch.
Yeah, I couldn't see really what happened on that catch there. We were a little bit late getting to it. I mean, again, these plays are going quick. But he was right there along that sideline. Looked like he got maybe about a foot of room between him and the sideline and brings both feet down. A great catch. Great effort, of course. And a great job by the quarterback to see him almost wide open on the backside there.
So now the line of scrimmage after the penalty will be the Mustang 35-yard line. And looking at a 3rd down and 15, so they need to get right to midfield. Long snap count, trying to draw the defense off sides. You can see in the background there, 3 on the play clock. Will they get it off in time? 2, 1, and 0. They will not. So unless somebody called the timeout at the last second, that's going to be an additional 5 yards. And apparently they did get the timeout from the sideline. So they take a timeout. That allows us to take a timeout. 7-0 still our score. Sante Fe on top of Mustang. We'll be back. So Mustang has to burn a timeout in order to avoid the delay of game penalty, as the play clock was running down inside of 3 seconds. And the Broncos right now looking at a 3rd and 15 from their own 35-yard line. So you can see the ball where it's placed. They'll actually have to get just across midfield to keep this drive alive, or at least give them a 4th and short situation. As the quarterback drops to throw downfield, good-looking toss right there at the 50-yard line, lunges forward, and that should be enough for the first down for the Broncos. And you can see, again, Dylan, everybody hurrying to the line of scrimmage as they want to get that next play off.
Yeah, it's a no-huddle offense, and you can tell they've had maybe some of their plays scripted out, and they knew what they were getting ready to run. And so they're ready to go right as the play finishes and that whistle blows. They're already getting up to the line, know what they're doing next.
Boy, Sante Fe moving all over the place on defense. Handoff straight ahead. 1 yard, 2 yards perhaps, and then driven back by a stream of white jerseys. The Sante Fe Wolves up front. Big number 66, one of the first guys in there. That is Matt Barton. And right away, Mustang right back to the line of scrimmage. check the formation, and then check with the sidelines. Hayden Conrad rolling, looking downfield, and he's going to keep it and run out of real estate and go out of bounds inside, actually, Mustang territory. They're going to spot it right at about the 50-yard line. Line of scrimmage was the 49, so a loss on the play. And now 3rd and 11 for the Broncos. Conrad checks the defense, checks the sidelines, looks at the options. Throws a little screen pass. They've got it set up pretty well. Great job defensively. And a nice tackle in the open field there. Drake Albert, one of the first ones there, number 28. As he did a good job reading that from the defensive perspective. And that'll set up a 4th down situation for Mustang just inside their own territory right near midfield.
Yeah, still going for it, it looks like. They're set up in that shotgun formation. Offense stays out on the field. They're not going to punt this one. They're going to take a shot and try to get that 1st down.
And instead kick it away. And a pretty good kick if he can get the right bounce. He had it for a second, but it rolls into the end zone. And the Santa Fe Wolves do a good job. They turn Mustang back. And the Wolves will get it for their 2nd possession after they scored on the 1st possession. And they lead it right now 7-0 in a fast-moving first quarter of play. Just about 3 minutes, 10 seconds left to go in this first quarter.
I don't think I've ever seen that where the team looks like their entire offense is set up, ready to go for a 4th down play, and then all of a sudden the quarterback just takes a couple steps back, and then he boots it down the field as the punter. Is a little bit of a switch up on the defense, and so maybe if your defense is thinking they're getting ready to go for it, you're not set up for a punt return. You don't have your punt returner out there. One of those defensive backs is going to have to run downfield and go receive that punt.
Looks like an official timeout for a water break. Want to make sure everybody is well hydrated here this evening. We've had 3 weeks of football games that have been played. Some teams have already played 2 games. In this case, both these teams have played just once. The first week, Dylan, we saw a good number of guys suffering from cramps. Didn't see as many last night, but around 5 or 6 o'clock last evening, the wind shifted and things got a little bit cooler. Tonight, though, it was still quite warm outside. As we mentioned, there's a good look at the crowd. The new press box as of the last couple of years here at Mustang. Great facility and just a great atmosphere whenever you're there watching the football game, on the baseball field, or in their gymnasium. They have some great facilities there at Mustang. All right, Santa Fe with the ball. Mustang shows blitz. Quick out pass play, slipping tackles and actually getting 3 yards on the play. Nice job on the far side for Santa Fe, but Mustang able to do a good job in holding them back to just maybe a 3-yard gain.
Players to watch on the Mustang side of the ball. We're almost done with the first quarter, and I still haven't even been able to say them yet. Harvey Phillips, the running back for Mustang, he had a great game last week, was in the conversation of player of the week for a lot of different organizations. Liam Krivanek and Braden Jarman, both on the defensive side of the ball. Jarman, an outside linebacker, and Krivanek is a defensive back, and they really played a big part in keeping UConn scoreless last week. So look for those 3 guys to make a lot of big plays tonight.
Swing pass incomplete on the near side of the field, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and 7 situation. So both teams in a hurry offensively. And sometimes that can lead to a little bit too hurried, and you end up with mistakes or infractions where guys are whistled for early movement and the like. But so far here, pretty clean, as I say that. Looks like linesman must have thrown a flag. That's going to go against Mustang as they jumped off sides. Or as no, it's going to go the other way. False start.
I was going to say, usually on an offside call, if they jump back over to the other side again before the ball is snapped, they don't call that all the time.
That's more in the pro game. I know what you're saying, but I think if you jump across because they call it encroachment. They don't call it offsides in high school. Rolling to his right, looking downfield, kind of a sidearm type pass. And receiver unable to come up with the catch, and that'll bring up a punting situation for Santa Fe. So after the Wolves looked very dominant in their first trip down the field, second trip here, it's going to be a 3-and-out. And dropping back for Santa Fe to take care of the kicking duties, it looks like it's going to be number 18, Colin Oliver.
Those numbers are tough to see. It's a white jersey with a silver number on it.
Not a great punt. Looked like it went off the side of his foot. Linesman is going to bring it back. And that's going to be at the 27-yard line.
Yeah, it looked like he kind of shanked that one, maybe caught the outside of his foot.
Yep.
You kind of want to get it more so on your laces or on your right at the end of your laces maybe. But right about in there is where you want it to hit, and it probably hit that outside right where his logo probably is on his shoe. That's a tough one. Tough break for Edmond Sante Fe, but if you're Mustang and you're Conrad here, your eyes are going to light up because you're thinking this is our chance to even the score. Only 30 yards to go before we find pay dirt.
Mustang, great field position, trying to running play to the outside, and that is going nowhere. I think that's going to be the new horse collar, where they have decided that it's not just reaching inside the jersey around the neck, but even if you grab them in the upper back and sling them to the ground as he did. And that's going to go against Santa Fe, which a couple years ago, Dylan, that might have been a really nice defensive play.
Yeah, I was looking at it like that was a pretty good hit, and as soon as I saw him kind of spin around, he had a good grip of that upper back, I was thinking, I wonder if they're going to let this one go, or if they're going to call it. And then right after I started to have those thoughts, there goes the flag, and I was thinking, well, that's that new horse collar rule.
Yeah.
And then you touched on it. Yeah, it's changing the game. It makes it a little bit different to where you've really got to get low on these guys. Because as you know, you can't hit them in the head in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
So now that you can't grab in the upper back or the shoulders or the neck area at all, it really kind of restricts you to really having to get low.
Harvey Phillips with the carry, goes straight ahead, picks up a couple of 4 or 5 yards on the carry. As you said, he had a big week last week. 204 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns on just 13 carries.
That's what I was going to say. 13 carries is the big part for me on that. I mean, it'd be one thing if you do that with, 25, 30 carries, but on 13?
15.6 yards per carry. He gets the ball again on that particular play, and right away they're back to the line of scrimmage.
15.6 yards per carry. That's a first down every time he touches the ball.
He's going to get the ball a lot if I'm coaching. Let's see what Mustang does here, facing a 3rd down and 3. Hayden Conrad giving some instructions here as the play clock is winding down. Takes the snap, straight ahead give, lost the football, came loose. That did not get back to the line of scrimmage. Phillips is able to fall on it. But let's see what that's going to set up now for the Broncos. I mean, obviously they're in 4-down territory very quickly back to the line of scrimmage. Hayden's going to keep it straight ahead. Santa Fe feels like they held. It's going to depend upon the mark of the football.
Yeah, I think it's a decent call, though, to have the quarterbacks run right up the middle, that quarterback sneak. A lot of times, if he doesn't get there on his own with his own legs, that running back or fullback behind him can really get a good push and get him across the line. But right there, 3 yards out, that's a long way for that quarterback to try to sneak, as they call it. And so we'll see. It looks like it's going to be within a few inches. They're bringing out the chain gang.
Quarterback for Mustang, Hayden Conrad, listed at 6'5" and 215. That's pretty good size for a high school quarterback. He is a senior. And here comes the chain gang from the far side. They'll stretch it out and see exactly where they are. And that's going to be enough for the first down. So the Broncos keep the drive alive, trying to answer the opening drive score that Santa Fe put on the board.
Well, think about it from Edmond Sante Fe's point of view right there. you give up bad field position, and Mustang's got just 30 yards to go. And then right after that, you force a fumble, but he recovers it. And now it's 4th down and 3, and they do a quarterback sneak up the middle. We feel like we've stopped them, but they get it by just a couple inches. That's a lot of times it's going to be a momentum builder for Mustang. And so Edmond Sante Fe's got to really kind of keep their heads in it and try to stop them from finding the end zone here with under a minute to go.
Broncos with a short pickup on the 1st down carry. Now the line of scrimmage at about the 12-yard line. Quick pass complete there, and now a flag comes out, thrown there by the linesman. The pass was complete as they got it to number 17, Jordan McFadden. But let's see, and you can see some of the Santa Fe players are clapping, and that's going to be a holding call against Mustang.
Yeah, and it looked like on that little out route, one of the wide receivers that was assigned to be blocking those defensive backs just had a little bit too much jersey, and the ref caught him with his hand in the cookie jar.
So the line of scrimmage now will be the 22-yard line. As you can see, the quarterback, Hayden Conrad, getting the call from the sidelines, bringing it forth to the rest of the Bronco offensive squad. 2 receivers to the top of your screen. Conrad going to roll to his right. Going to throw on the run. Pass is complete. Not much of a gain, 4 or 5 yards perhaps. Pass complete there to number 10 as he's able to find Khary Brown.
Well, even though it's not a huge play and it's not going to get you that 1st down, you've really got to respect what that quarterback just did right there. Conrad on the move. He's got pressure coming at him, and he fires a bullet right across the middle, and it's on target, on time, and it ends up getting him to where it's just 3rd and 6 now, and it's a doable 3rd and 6.
Right.
And you're just a couple of yards out from the end zone as well.
All right, first quarter has come to a close. Edmond Sante Fe leads at 7-0, but Mustang is threatening on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Well, it's Saturday night and I just got paid. My heart say go, go. Have a time cause it's Saturday night. Now I'm feeling fine. I'm gonna rock it up. I'm gonna rip it up. I'm gonna shake it out. Gonna ball it up. I'm gonna rock it up and ball tonight.
Drive the new Ford Ranger today with 0% financing for 60 months plus $2,000 total savings. Hurry into your Oklahoma Ford dealer.
Welcome back, everybody. 7-0 our score. Edmond Sante Fe on top of Mustang, your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. We've completed 1 quarter of play. Very quick first quarter of play, and right now Mustang has the ball, and they are driving on their own, and right now trying to even this score up right here. See what they can do in this case here. Trying to even this score up. Going to roll to his left, throw. The pass is deflected, tipped, and a free ball, but nobody able to come up with it.
Well, that brings up 4th down, and so it's interesting. Last time out, it looked like they were getting ready to go for it, and then they ended up punting it. But here, it's a straightforward kick. I'm about 99% sure they're actually going to kick it this time. And as I say that, though, guarantee they do something funny here. These teams are definitely going to pull out all the stops to try to get the win tonight.
Kick is on the way. It is up, and it is good. So Mustang gets on the board just 8 seconds into this second quarter, and Edmond Sante Fe still has the lead by a score of 7-3. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with the kickoff. Edmond Sante Fe scheduled to get the ball when we return.
Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView Cox Channel 3. Thursday night, the Moore Lions and the Norman Tigers meet again. These old rivals always put on a great show. Watch for Moore's Daniel Highshaw Jr. He's a Kansas commit. And Norman's Kate Horton committed to OU. The Lions and Tigers get together in Norman. Watch for Moore and Norman Thursday night at 7 live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Kick off your Thursday night with the Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
Welcome back, everybody. 7-3 our score. Edmond Sante Fe on top. Mustang getting on the board with the field goal. And we are now set for the return kickoff for the Broncos. Edmond Sante Fe took the opening drive, drove the length of the field, and looked good in doing it. But Mustang, game of adjustments, football is. You make some changes, and you figure out exactly what you need to do and make some changes and stop the offense, and that's what Mustang did. Then they score on their own, get the 3 points, and now it's 7-3. Sante Fe on top as Mustang is ready to kick it away. High short kick, actually going to go all the way to about the 1 yard line. Makes 2 people miss. Now to the 30, flag comes out and tripped up as he crosses the 45-yard line to about the 47, but you get a good idea that this one's coming back.
Yeah, pretty sure it was a holding call somewhere back there around the 25 or so, and it is.
So Sante Fe came out and went down the field gangbuster-like. I mean, they just drove it in 5 and 6 yards every play. When they had the necessary yardage for the first down, they were able to get that, whatever it was, 7 yards, 12 yards, and looked very good in doing so. But Mustang has answered the challenge, has held them off the scoreboard since then and added 3 of their own, giving us our score right now of 7-3.
Well, one of the more interesting storylines that we haven't talked about yet is the defensive coordinator here at Mustang is Sam Dollar. He was formerly the head coach at a school called Naples High in Florida. And he won 2 state titles there, and so it's kind of an interesting hire. You know, whenever you bring in these new head coaches, a lot of times they'll hire their own staff. And Sam Dollar was one of those hires that Lee Blankenship brought in, and he was at Naples for 21 years and led Naples to the first and only undefeated state championship in Southwest Florida school history.
Impressive.
So he's got quite the resume, but he comes back here to Mustang, Oklahoma, where his, I believe his mother and his brother live somewhere near there. So it's kind of a coming back home for him, and he joins the Mustang staff.
Complete pass, but right away the defense is there. Going to be a gain of about 2, maybe 3 at the most on the play. And that'll bring up a 3rd and short situation for Sante Fe. Just underway here in the second quarter. Wolves on top, leading it 7-3. Seen some impressive performances by football teams here in the early going. First couple of weeks. Some surprises, of course, as you always would expect. And some teams as dominant, as always, as you also would expect, especially in the 6A level of games. Here's a handoff up the middle, breaking tackles and into the secondary. Gets enough for the first down all the way out to the 40-yard line, and that's Snotty once again.
And he's a hard runner. He's one of those guys that really just explodes through his gap. And he'll pick up a first down if you let him. You've really got to be on top of him and get to him quick. But one of those problems is just how fast he explodes through those holes.
New set of downs for the Wolves. Quick swing pass. Nice tackle wide open in the field, and a great read there by number 11, Krivanek. Liam Krivanek, 6'1", 205, senior defensive back, and he was all over that one. And Sante Fe player is a little slow to get up.
Yeah, helmet popped off there, and that's never a good situation. We'll probably see him head to the sideline after this play, but a big hit from Krivanek.
I believe that's Talon Shetron, the young sophomore that you talked about in the open.
Yeah, I've seen that he's been taking visits out at OSU and OU, so he's got a lot of talent. A lot of teams are really happy to see where he goes and excited to see if he can join their roster.
Medical staff is on site, and they're going to work him towards the sidelines. That's Kyle White there, the Edmond Sante Fe coach in the visor. I recognize Chris Cromer, the athletic trainer from Mustang, as he is on site, of course. And you can't say enough about the job that those guys do. The athletic trainers at all the different schools and how important they really are. And that has been especially evident these last several years as we start to understand more about the injuries, about, making sure that kids are well hydrated. And, again, hats off to all those guys out there. I know a lot of them. And, they are an integral part of a lot of these programs at all the different high schools. So a 2nd down 11 for Santa Fe after the nice defensive play. Shetron goes to the sideline. Fake the handoff. Keeper by the quarterback, Olson. He's going to get right to midfield and then knocked out of bounds.
Olson did a great job of selling the fake there, really held that football in his running back's gut and pulled it out at the last second, let that defense really think that he was handing it off. Offensive line does a good job of making it look like they're going that way too. And the quarterback takes off on the outside, picks up a good gain, and now we're looking at just a short 3rd down. And I'd imagine Snoddy is going to be in line to get the ball here.
Right next to the quarterback, Snoddy does get the call, and he squirms ahead and knifes his way through, burrows his way forward. And that's going to be close. And looks like it's going to be enough for the 1st down to keep Santa Fe on the drive. We'll run down some of the other big games that are being played tonight as we go along throughout our contest here this evening. Keep you updated on scores as well. Rolling to his right, Olson fires. Pass is caught. Reception over there. Trying to get the number on that particular player because those numbers are sometimes hard to read. Did you catch the number on that one, Dylan?
I saw it started with an 8.
That's what I saw.
Couldn't see much else.
It's complete. And it was a gain of about 5 yards on the play, 4 or 5 yards. Call it 2nd and 6. Inside Mustang territory. Olson, end around, good call. Nobody's over there for Mustang. Lots of running room. Nobody's touched him yet. Inside the 20, just tripped up. And if he doesn't get a hand on his shoe right there at about the 10-yard line, he is in for the touchdown. And you can see the pursuit from Mustang. They were going full out on the sweep. Here's the replay once again. And a nice run by number 21, Brandon Caraway.
Yeah, I'm glad you say by his shoe right there. Judson Rowland just got a shoelace tackle. Maybe just barely got a hand on it. Great gain there, but it looks like they're going to be working their way backwards. Probably another holding call. And that's got to be frustrating whenever you get those big gains and you got to come all the way back.
Well, where they're marking it tells you that it was downfield. As we saw it, it's going to be a hold against Santa Fe, but they got the 1st down. So it happened late in the play there, probably after he had cleared the line of scrimmage, that the penalty occurred, because when they even subtract the yardage from the penalty, he still had enough for the 1st down. I hope that made sense to everybody. Running play, right side. It's going to get about 5 yards on the 1st down carry there. But that reverse had everybody from Mustang going the wrong way.
It really did. It was a great end-around call. I mean, you talk about really selling fakes is what I mentioned earlier on that play action. Or I guess it was an option. He kept it. But he did a great job selling that one. And then this one, makes the entire defense head to the south side, and then of your screen at least, south side of your screen, and then a running back or wide receiver comes around the other way, and a great gain on what was a brought back play.
And here the pass is deflected at the line of scrimmage and tipped, and looks like it was intercepted. I'm going to have to see the replay on that one to see exactly what happened. Is Olson, either that or he stopped his throw. No, it was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
I don't even know if it was tipped. I think he got it straight out of the air.
Wow.
That's impressive. I mean, he just jumped at it and got 2 hands on the ball. Next thing I know, the quarterback's tackling him. That was a great play. Was that Colt Humphrey on the interception?
I believe so.
Wow.
So Santa Fe in the midst of another long drive, time-consuming drive. Mustang gets the turnover, and they get the ball at their own 43-yard line, 1st and 10. Looking to throw downfield. Rolling and throwing way downfield. Was he in bounds? They say yes, he was. What a great throw and a great catch on this near sideline. Number 10 for the Broncos, Khary Brown once again.
Well, and if he's able to really make throws like this on the run, we saw him make one earlier, Mustang's going to be a threat because that is a tough throw.
That's big league right there. Running play to the left side. Not so much that time as they are able to stop that. That's Harvey Phillips. And as always, I mean, as long as Edmond Sante Fe has been around since the mid-90s, they've always had great athletes. Reggie Smith comes to mind, of course. Calvin Bundage. Some of those guys that do a great job in pursuing the football, and it's hard to out-athlete Edmond Sante Fe.
Well, and one of the players I said to watch tonight was Colin Oliver on that Edmond Sante Fe defensive line, number 18. And he's a big-time hitter. We've already seen him a couple times just throw those running backs down. One of them he got flagged for, but nonetheless, he's going to manhandle those running backs, and so you've got to be strong when you're coming his way.
3rd down and 9 now for the Broncos. Inside Santa Fe territory. Line of scrimmage at their 25-yard line. 2 receivers to the left, top of your screen. Quarterback is Hayden Conrad. Looks downfield. Rolls out, throws on the run, in the end zone, wide open. He got a foot down into the end zone. Touchdown Mustang. Nice throw once again. And Mustang now takes the lead on the nice touchdown pass downfield. Let's take another look. Great execution by the Broncos.
I'm sure I don't have to tell you, but I'm going to say it anyway. That is going to be one of the most impressive touchdowns we'll see this year. I mean, right there in the back of the end zone, 1 foot down, and 6 points on the board. Mustang takes the lead there. That's a tough throw, too. We've seen him make these throws on the run. He must be really comfortable at doing it. But all the way into the back of the end zone, right on the money, that's tough.
Touchdown Mustang. They take a 10-7 lead with just under 6 minutes left to go here in the first half. Take a timeout. Be right back with more for you.
Saturday night and I just got paid. My heart say go, go. Have time cause Saturday night. Now I'm feeling fine. I'm gonna rock it up. I'm gonna rip it up. I'm gonna shake it out. Gonna ball it up. I'm gonna rock it up. And ball tonight.
Drive the new Ford Ranger today with 0% financing for 60 months plus $2,000 total savings. Hurry into your Oklahoma Ford dealer.
Well, the Broncos take the lead. A very impressive drive and 2 great throws and catches by the Mustang quarterback, Hayden Conrad. Let's take a look at this last one here, Dylan.
I mean, we've already seen him make a couple of good throws on the run, but that is more than good. That is top-notch, top-level, whatever you want to say, top shelf. It's at the top. That's tough to make. Great throw, puts it into the back of the end zone. There's even a defender in the area, and he puts it to where only his receiver can get it. Not only that, but how about the control by the wide receiver to make sure he gets a foot into the end zone, knowing where you are in that back of the end zone, knowing how far you've got before you hit that back line. And so he does a great job of getting that left foot down. And 6 points on the board. That's an impressive 6 points is what that is.
Short kickoff to Edmond Sante Fe. Nice return. Lost the football. Looks like the Broncos were first ones there, and they get it. Let's see if they were able to wrestle it away before the official call comes from the referee. And there's no doubt about it. As Mustang, take a look at the replay here. He just loses the football.
Well, and the return looked like it was in good shape before that fumble. He had a lot of running room, a blocker in front of him. If he had just gotten around that one tackler, he probably had another 40 yards or so before he even had another guy even get close to him. It was looking like it was going to be a great return, and then just at the right time, a Mustang defender gets his hand in there, pokes the ball loose, And now it's Broncos football, and they've got a chance to expand this lead. And if they're throwing the football like they were last possession, they definitely will.
So Santa Fe led it early, 7-0. Mustang has scored the next 10 points in succession, and they have a 3-point lead right now with about 5.5 minutes left to go here in this first half. That's a pass that maybe shouldn't have been thrown, but he was able to get rid of it, avoid the sack and the big loss.
It's definitely dangerous trying to throw while you're being hit, but he manages to get it out of bounds, and we've seen he's got a big arm. He can probably get it to that sideline even if he was all the way on the opposite side, but right there it's dangerous, and he still makes the play.
2nd down and 10 as they check the sidelines now to detect any changes in the coverages. What a first half of play for Hayden Conrad. Play action, looking downfield. Plants, stops, throws, complete. Inside the 20, inside the 15-yard line, all the way down to the 14-yard line. And a nice grab there by number 18. That is Tristan Plumley with the reception for the Broncos, who are threatening to put some more points on the board after trailing early 7-0.
Well, we talked a lot about the run game coming into this with the game that this man right here, number 7, had last game. Harvey Phillips did a great job against UConn. We were talking about their ground game coming into it, and now here getting ready to hit halftime, all we could talk about is this passing game. It's been great from start to now this 5-minute mark here in the second quarter. He's been able to find everybody wide open, it seems like. These wide receivers are making the defenders and the defensive backs look silly, and it's just been an easy day for Hayden Conrad to find them open.
Conrad out of the gun, looking at a 2nd down and 9 situation. Play action, rolling left, throwing right, tipped, and it's going to be caught in the end zone for another touchdown. How about that?
I had to lean back in my seat, Steve. I didn't believe it.
It went off the apparent intended receiver's hands, tipped over the defender, and then into the end zone. Let's see it again. And caught. That was almost like a volleyball set.
Wow. You know, there's one thing I do in scary movies. When I'm watching scary movies, I lean back and my eyes get real wide. Right there, I leaned back and my eyes got real wide like I was scared of that play. I didn't think it was going to happen. A touchdown on the play, and it doesn't even look like it's going to be anything there.
Yeah.
It looked like, if anything, it was just going to be an incomplete pass. But instead, we've got another touchdown, and Mustang's on the board again.
Wow, what a play. We'll see that one a couple times before the evening is over. We'll have some highlights for you at halftime and post-game as well, and you can bet that's going to make the list.
And you talk about highlights. We've got a whole set of neon yellow, neon orange, neon pink. We've got all the highlights.
So now Mustang lining up for the extra point. Right now they're on a 16-0 run. Extra point would make it 17-0 after Santa Fe took the opening kickoff and drove it for the touchdown. Snap back, ball down, kick up. It's away, and it is good. So the Mustang Broncos, they have rallied. They have settled down, and their quarterback is putting on a show. 17-7 Broncos on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. We'll be back.
Hold on to me. Don't let me go. Your first name is free. Last name is dumb.
Drive a new Ford Expedition today with 0% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 cash for first responders. Hurry into your Oklahoma Ford dealer.
Welcome back, everybody. Edmond Sante Fe took the opening kickoff, drove length of the field, went on top 7-0, looked good doing so. But Mustang has answered the call. They've made their adjustments, and their offense has started to click, Dylan, and they now have a 10-point lead.
Yeah, 3 unanswered scores, the field goal, and then 2 straight touchdowns by the arm of Hayden Conrad. And on top of that, I mentioned to you 2 forced fumbles since that first touchdown as well. So Mustang's really gotten into the groove now, and they're looking to take an even bigger lead. And if it ends up like the last kickoff, they really could.
It looked like the touchdown pass was intended for the receiver at about the 3 or 4 yard line. Apparently got a hand on it, tipped it, and it ends up going to a teammate into the end zone for the touchdown. So Mustang on top now, leading at 17-7. And their defense has gotten a lot better as we've got whistles, and it looked like there were several guys off sides on the kickoff. False start is what they would call that.
Last touchdown was like the immaculate reception.
It was
Tipped.
similar too.
Catch it and 6 points right there.
And then I'll refer you to, I think it was the 1970 Super Bowl when Eddie Hinton, who was a receiver at Oklahoma, it used to be that you could not have an offensive player tip the pass and then have a teammate catch it. That was illegal. And it happened in the Super Bowl, I think it was the Super Bowl number 3. They outlawed it for a while, but since then it has become legal. So we'll have to get our crack staff on that during the halftime intermission and see exactly where that lies.
Well, and I think of even more recently the Seattle Seahawks and the 49ers game when that ball was going out towards Crabtree and Sherman tips it, and
right.
Linebacker's right there for the interception. I mean, there's just so many cases of those plays, and every one of them is always exciting. You're always like, wow, whenever that happens.
So Santa Fe, who seemingly was going to move the ball all night long on their first drive, has been stymied since then, and as Dylan said, has turned it over a couple of times. So line of scrimmage will be the 35-yard line for the Santa Fe Wolves as they trot out. Their quarterback, Jorgen Olsen. They have plenty of weapons, but it'll be interesting to see if Shetron returns. He left the game with an injury a little earlier. Running play to the right side will get about 2 yards and nothing more.
Shetron's out there, yep, at the top of the screen, 22. Yep. He came out for this possession. That's good to see after the hit that he was on the wrong end of just a little while ago.
So that'll bring up a 2nd down and 8 situation for the Wolves. Out of the gun all night long. Low snap, bobbled, picked up. Olsen rolling. Throws the pass, it's complete, but he's going to be chased out of bounds at the 43. Not much of a gain there.
Yeah, it looked like he found Shetron in the flat, but I wonder if that was maybe just a security blanket. He didn't want to maybe throw it there and just kind of had to, just to prevent him from either losing yardage or getting nowhere. At least you got something positive when you throw it there.
Line of scrimmage will be the 38-yard line in Santa Fe territory. Looking at a 3rd down and 7. Olsen dropping to throw. Quick shot to the outside. Had a receiver. Had to go down and try to make the catch. That was Shetron, I believe. Unable to come up with it. Low pass. And it goes incomplete. That would bring up a 4th down situation.
Well, and it didn't look like he had a real good grip on it either. The spiral came out kind of funny. And those tough spirals kind of make it harder for the wide receiver to catch because it's not coming at an angle where when you've got your hands positioned right, it comes and it just spins right into your hands. When it's coming at an odd angle, you might have to open your hands a little wider to try to catch it sideways or something like that. And it just kind of throws the entire play off. So you've really got to make sure you got a good grip on it when you let it fly.
Kick is away in good fashion. Good strong kick, driving the Broncos way back. Dangerous pickup there inside the 5-yard line at about the 3. But, you know, maybe not a bad play because that was rolling to where it might have gone deeper than the 3-yard line. You can't ask for a much better punt than that if you're a fan of the Santa Fe Wolves, and that's where Mustang will start it out 1st and 10 as they have found their offense here, and now it's up to Santa Fe to make some adjustments defensively to see what they can do to stop this Broncos attack.
Yeah, and that's where those punters make those paychecks, is putting them down here real low and into where they're just within that 5-yard line. Of course, you don't make a paycheck in high school football, but that's what they're there for, really, is to put them into tough field position and pin them deep. And right here, Mustang, who has really been in a groove lately, they've got their backs against the wall. They're really going to have to try to punch this forward. And right here, a different quarterback out on the field.
All right, so the Broncos with the snap, and looked like they had some movement before the snap was actually made. False start going to be called against Mustang. So they're going to move this half the distance to the goal line, which would be about the 1.5-yard line.
Colt Humphrey is the one that is taking the snaps now. Number 1. He's the guy that had the interception earlier, right there at the defensive line, pressuring the quarterback. I wonder if maybe he's more of a runner or something, and so putting him here, maybe he creates an option to where they can really kind of sprint out with just the quarterback.
Looks for some running room, is able to batter his way out to about the 5. Clock running, just about 3 minutes and 10 seconds left to go here before halftime. Started out as though Edmond Sante Fe was going to put some big numbers on the board. Opening drive took it length of the field, put it across the goal line for a 7-0 lead, but ever since that point, it's been all Mustang. Running play again, left side, straight ahead. Humphrey again, 6'2", 210. He is a senior quarterback.
Gain of 6. 3rd down and 2.
3rd down and 3 now for Mustang. Quarterback keeper hurdles the defensive line, gets out across the 15. That should be enough for the first down.
And you got to like that. That's always a fun play to see. And right there, jumps over more than just one defender. He jumped over an entire line right there. The trenches are going at it, offensive line, defensive line, just butting heads. And he goes, well, I guess if I can't get through you, I'll just go over you.
And he did. That wasn't the low hurdles either. That was the high hurdles.
Absolutely. I wonder if he runs track. That'd be a good question.
And checking back into the lineup is Hayden Conrad, who's really had a great first half of football. Running play in the back, and that has dropped immediately. Nowhere to go. As soon as he got the football, he got the tackler.
He took a tough hit to the legs. My guess is it was probably a helmet there to the shin. And that doesn't feel good. You got to think about that. That's that hard metal type of surface that comes right at you, right on the bone. Not good.
Nope. Timeout called by Santa Fe. They're feeling as though they're going to get some good field position if they can get a stop here. And with just about a minute and a half left to go here in this first half, we'll take a timeout. Mustang leading it by a score of 17-7.
The Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView Cox Channel 93. Friday night, the Verdigris Cardinals will host the Stillwell Indians in Verdigris. 4A Stillwell and 3A Verdigris will be tuning up for district play. And it's homecoming under the Friday night lights in Verdigris. It's Stillwell and Verdigris Friday night at 7, live on YurView Cox Channel 93. Kick off your Friday night with the Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
Welcome back to Mustang, everybody. Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week here on YurView. Thanks for joining us. We got a good one. Santa Fe went off to the early 7-0 lead, but Mustang has scored the next 17 in succession. Broncos facing a 2nd down and 12. Handoff off the left side. That's going nowhere. Line of scrimmage, maybe a half yard, but that would be it. Santa Fe used a timeout after the last play because they thought they were going to get some good field position. And the clock running right now. Mustang's in no hurry, but it looks like they finally did call the timeout. And we'll keep it right here. And I will task my young color analyst, Dylan Rivera, to start getting ready to get us some scores here during the halftime as we check some of the other games across the state. As we mentioned, the big matchups on the east side of the state, Owasso at Broken Arrow, Jenks at Union, But maybe even bigger than that tonight is the Del City Eagles playing at Carl Albert, as they are going to dedicate the field there to legendary head coach Gary Rose. And you want to talk about a guy that had some success. We're talking about 10 state championships and developed a whole lot of talent throughout his years at Carl Albert. And I can never thank Gary enough for all the access that he allowed us during our TV show throughout all the years that he had there, and some great players, some great teams. And it was funny that all the championships that he won, they never had an undefeated season. His successor, Mike Corley, has won the last 2 state championships in a row and undefeated seasons, and right now they've won 38 consecutive games. The all-time record is 47. They have a chance to break that record held by Wagner later in the season. Here's a running play for Mustang, and that's going to be good enough for a first down, and then a late flag coming in at the end of the play.
Yeah, it looked like number 19 came flying in, Mason Olgan, and it just looked like he didn't have enough time to stop his momentum and goes shoulder first into the runner after he's already hit the turf. Right there, it'll be extra yardage for the Mustang Broncos.
Got a kick there out of Hayden Conrad playing official there as he clapped his hands and then gave the first down signal pointing downfield. So Mustang has more than gotten themselves out of trouble right now. They're just about at midfield from their own 47-yard line. And we've seen that they can come up with the big play when needed. Santa Fe showing blitz from the top of your screen. Still checking with our referee down there at the bottom left-hand corner, as he's not quite ready to get back to the action just yet. And here we go. Start the clock. Let's go. Bronco football. Run to the left side, cutting it back towards the middle, getting to midfield, and then turn back, and then another flag comes out. And maybe had a face mask there?
I don't think so. That's why I'm surprised he threw that one out. I'm not sure what the call is going to be here.
It appeared to be against the defense.
Well, the tackle looked pretty clean to me. He had a good wrap-up and yeah, maybe threw him down a little harder than he maybe needed to, but, I mean, that's football.
They're going to take it off. No flag. But it did stop the clock for Mustang, allow them to regroup. And now they'll restart the clock. Broncos with the football as we get down near the minute mark left to go here in this first half, leading by 10. Dropping the throw, pressured and hit and dropped before he got back to the midfield stripe.
Well, right there you can see why Colt Humphrey was brought in whenever they were down there with their backs against the end zone. He's not a runner. You can see Conrad doesn't like to use his legs to pick up the first down, but he's definitely a good thrower, so that's why he's out there. But when you turn him into a runner, you get pressure into that backfield, make it to where he's uncomfortable and he's got to use his legs. He clearly is uncomfortable doing that.
Clock running. This could be the final play. Depends on the outcome to see if anybody wants to stop the clock. Looking to the far side, now throwing near side. Nice catch, plants the foot, turns upfield. Still on his feet, all the way down to the 20-yard line. And a nice reception there, brought in by William Haddix, I believe, number 2. As they move the chains, that stops the clock. And they're going to take a timeout and discuss how they want to try and play these final seconds of this second quarter. Mustang leading at 17-7 is our score on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. We'll take a timeout and be right back. Stay with us.
The right connection can open a world of curiosity for your child. With Cox, families that have a K-12 student and receive government assistance could qualify for low-cost home internet with Wi-Fi. That means more learning and more achieving. Qualify now. It's time to connect with Cox.
Welcome back, everybody. 8.7 seconds remaining here before halftime. When Mustang started this drive, it was from about their own 3-yard line. You figured they would like to burn the clock and get out of here and have the lead, but now they're knocking on the door again. Probably not enough time for 2 plays, although you could squeeze it in very quickly if you were fortunate. But they are probably also within field goal range with the line of scrimmage at the 19-yard line. That would make it about a 36-yard attempt, and it looks like they're just going to go straight to the field goal attempt. And number 83, the kicker for the Broncos, that is Salinthavong, and I hope I said that right.
I think you did. That's how I would say it. Corey Salinthavong.
Snap is back. Kick is on the way. Has the distance, I think, and it is up, and it is no good, off to the left. So he is not able to convert on that, and that will still leave us apparently with about 3 seconds left to go here before halftime. So either a kneel down play and get to the locker room and make adjustments, or maybe a desperation play by Santa Fe here before we head to the halftime intermission. Good first half of football.
Great first half of football, yeah. And coming into this game, we knew it was going to be a good one. And I was looking at some of the different stuff. I like to see what the Oklahoman picks before I do our game. And Oklahoman said Edmond Sante Fe 24, Mustang 20. Squirtle gave Mustang a 56% chance to win. So on the flip side, obviously, Edmond Sante Fe had a 44%. So both of them picking different teams to win this one. That tells you just how tightly contested this was going to be before we even started the game.
Here's a running play straight up the middle. That's going to get out to about the 25-yard line, and that will get us out of this first half of play. Well, Santa Fe took the opening drive, drove the length of the field, put it in the end zone, led it 7-0, but after that, it was pretty much all Mustang as the Broncos scored the next 17 without an answer. And going to the halftime locker room, it's Mustang on top of Santa Fe by a score of 17-7. We'll come back, we'll check some of the highlights, we'll check some of the scores from across the state, and that's all coming up next right here on YurView.com, your Oklahoma Ford dealers Game of the Week.
Saturday night and I just got paid. My heart say go, go. Have time 'cause Saturday night. Now I'm feeling fine. I'm gonna rock it up. I'm gonna rip it up. I'm gonna shake it up. Gonna ball it up. I'm gonna rock it up and ball tonight.
Drive the new Ford Ranger today with 0% financing for 60 months plus $2,000 total savings. Hurry into your Oklahoma Ford dealer.
The Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Friday night, the Edmond Sante Fe Wolves go to Harv Collins Field to play the Norman North Timberwolves. These teams are itching to make playoff runs in 2019. The fans will be howling when the Wolves and Timberwolves hook it up Friday night. It's Edmond Sante Fe and Norman North Friday night at 7 live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Start your Friday night with the Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
Our tradition for my football team is we dress up, shirt and tie. I had a tie, but I didn't know how to tie it. Usually I would have my dad help me, but he was deployed. I'm thinking, don't worry about it. My grandma should know.
He says, can you tie a tie? And I'm like, no. But we're on our way to Chick-fil-A.
I recognize them because they came into our store so much. Miss Bertha and Mr. Terrence, I'm like, of course, I'll help them out and show them how to tie a tie.
It wasn't just the tie, it's what was in your heart.
It's my pleasure. Doing good, man. You got it.
Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Friday night, the Edmond Sante Fe Wolves go to Harv Collins Field to play the Norman North Timberwolves. These teams are itching to make playoff runs in 2019. The fans will be howling when the Wolves and Timberwolves hook it up Friday night. It's Edmond Sante Fe and Norman North Friday night at 7 live on YurView Cox Channel 3. Start your Friday night with the Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
The right connection can open a world of curiosity for your child. With Cox, families that have a K-12 student and receive government assistance could qualify for low-cost home internet with Wi-Fi. That means more learning and more achieving. Qualify now. It's time to connect with Cox.
The Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView Cox Channel 3. Thursday night, the Moore Lions and the Norman Tigers meet again. These old rivals always put on a great show. Watch for Moore's Daniel Highshaw Jr. He's a Kansas commit, and Norman's Kate Horton committed to OU. The Lions and Tigers get together in Norman. Watch for Moore and Norman Thursday night at 7 live on YurView Cox Channel 3. Kick off your Thursday night with the Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
And welcome back, everybody, to Mustang, Oklahoma, the site of our matchup here tonight on YurView.com, your Oklahoma Ford dealers game of the week. Edmond Sante Fe and Mustang as we take a look at the halftime highlights. Mustang on top, leading it by a score of 17-7. That's not the way it started, however, as Edmond Sante Fe took the opening kickoff, drove the length of the field, and they got in the end zone to go on the board first, Dylan.
Well, and they held UConn scoreless last week, that Mustang defense, and then right out of the gates gave up a touchdown. So you and I were both kind of looking at each other like, wow, that was really impressive by Edmond Sante Fe. And then it was like all of a sudden that was the breaking point for Mustang's defense, and they said, all right, we're going to start playing some football now, and have held them scoreless since.
All right, and then Mustang, of course, would drive, and then they would get the field goal to make it 7-3.
Yeah, and he's 1 for 2 on the evening, Sulit Thavong, and that one goes right through the uprights, right down the pipes, and puts up 3 points, and so they were able to get something on the board and make it a little bit more of a ball game beforehand.
And Mustang then playing defense is going to come up with a big interception to stop a drive by Sante Fe here.
Yeah, this one was a really interesting interception. You and I both kind of thought it maybe just got tipped. And then all of a sudden we saw the ref pointing Mustang's way, saying it was their football. And we were like, wait, did it get picked off?
Yeah.
And then we realized, number one, right there at the line, Colt Humphrey jumps up and grabs it with 2 hands, just picks it out of the air. And, I mean, we talk about picked off. He really picked that off.
That was a great play there. And then they were able to take it down the field, and they come up with a big touchdown. Great throw here.
Yeah, it was on the move. We saw him make a couple of throws like this right before this one. And that one on the move into the back of the end zone. Wide receiver has enough balance and enough concentration to get 1 foot down. That's a touchdown. That was Khary Brown on the reception there. And it was something special, I'll tell you that much.
And then the final touchdown, you're going to see it tipped by an intended receiver, I think, and then ends up in the hands of one of his teammates in the end zone.
Yeah, and this one, I don't know if you would call it immaculate or not, but it was quite the catch. Right here we talk about it being tipped. It looks like it's intended for the receiver right there at about the 4-yard line. And then it looks like number 18 comes up with the reception in the end zone, Tristan Plumlee. And that puts another 6 points on the board and brings the total to 17 for Mustang.
Well, very interesting first half, but the Broncos have recovered. They're playing at home, as you can see there, obviously, and they have the 17-7 halftime lead. We'll continue our halftime show. We'll check some scores from around the state. Some big football games going on as we talk about week 2 and 3 in some cases for some of these high school football teams. We'll take a timeout. This is your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week, and we'll be right back.
Our tradition for my football team is we dress up, shirt and tie. I had a tie, but I didn't know how to tie it. Usually I would have my dad help me, but he was deployed. I'm thinking, don't worry about it, my grandma should know.
He says, can you tie a tie? And I'm like, no. But we're on our way to Chick-fil-A.
I recognize them because they came into our store so much. Miss Bertha and Mr. Terrence, I'm like, of course, I'll help them out and show them how to tie a tie.
It wasn't just the tie, it's what was in your heart.
It's my pleasure. Doing good, man. You got it.
Welcome back to Mustang, everybody. 17-7 our score. The Broncos on top of the visiting Santa Fe Wolves. And time now to check some of the scores from around the state. As we said, some big games going on. We're not in district play yet, but a lot of rivalry games, Dylan.
Well, for one, we've got Edmond Sante Fe on our screen here, but how about Edmond North at Edmond Memorial? The other two Edmond schools. It is 14-14 at halftime, still square. Noble at Ada. Noble is up 22-17 right now. Both teams entered that game 1-0, so somebody's leaving with a loss tonight. Stillwater is up 41-0 on Norman North.
Wow.
Norman North plays Edmond Sante Fe next week, and that one is the game of the week. It'll be on Cox Channel 3, so you'll have to catch that one. But right now, Norman's getting stomped by Stillwater. Trying to go through here, see if I can maybe find some of the games you were mentioning earlier between
Carl Albert and Del City, perhaps.
Yeah, see if I can find those ones.
The Fighting Bishops were playing tonight, Bishop Kelly and Bishop McGinnis. That was another game to watch.
Carl Albert, Del City. Carl Albert is up 35-0 at halftime.
Wow. Carl Albert, maybe after winning all those state championships and the dedication to the field tonight for former head coach Gary Rose, they wanted to make sure that they would not lose that game. Del City's a good football team. Carl Albert having their way apparently with Del City at this point.
My alma mater, Broken Arrow, against Owasso tonight, the last two state champions in 6A1. It is 14-14 at halftime, so that one's a ball game out there.
Sounds like an interesting matchup, and then the other big school matchup would be Union and Jenks. Any score on that one to report?
Let's search it up, see what we can find. Union and Jenks. Jenks, as you mentioned, took a big loss to Bixby last week.
57-7.
That one, Union entered the game 0-2, and right now they are down 20-14 to Jenks.
So maybe we've seen the shift of power on the East, and now it's all about Broken Arrow and whoever else might rise up. I know that makes you happy.
Absolutely. Love seeing BA at the top.
All right, 17-7 our score here at the halftime intermission, as we will allow for the Mustang Marching Band to perform for everybody out there during our halftime. Of course, these guys work just as hard as everybody else. The coaches, the players on the field, they practice as well, and they certainly do a great job, and we want to recognize them as you enjoy their halftime performance. Hope you're enjoying the halftime performance of the Mustang Marching Band and their presentation here this evening. I want to make sure that we give them as much attention, or close to it anyway, as we give the football players and the other sports that we covered throughout the high school season. Our halftime score has Mustang on top of Edmond Sante Fe by a score of 17-7. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back and start getting ready for the second half of play right here on YurView.com.
Hold on to me, don't let me go. Your first name is free, last name is dumb.
Drive a new Ford Expedition today with 0% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 cash for first responders. Hurry into your Oklahoma Ford dealer.
The right connection can open a world of curiosity for your child. With Cox, families that have a K-12 student and receive government assistance could qualify for low-cost home internet with Wi-Fi. That means more learning and more achieving. Qualify now. It's time to connect with Cox.
Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView, Cox Channel 93. Friday night, the Verdigris Cardinals will host the Stillwell Indians in Verdigris. 4A Stillwell and 3A Verdigris will be tuning up for district play, and it's homecoming under the Friday night lights in Verdigris. It's Stillwell and Verdigris Friday night at 7, live on YurView, Cox Channel 93. Kick off your Friday night with the Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
Just got paid, my heart say go, go. Have time cause it's Saturday night. Now I'm feeling fine, I'm gonna rock it up. I'm gonna rip it up. I'm gonna shake it up. Gonna ball it up. I'm gonna rock it up. And ball tonight.
Drive the new Ford Ranger today with 0% financing for 60 months plus $2,000 total savings. Hurry into your Oklahoma Ford dealer.
And welcome back, everybody. Your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. Steve Marshall along with Dylan Rivera, Tanner Wade, Brad Shelton, Riley Cowan, and Mr. Rivera alongside to lend his expertise as far as the analysis goes. And, of course, you're familiar with the coaching and following Coach Lee Blankenship for Mustang, who took over this year from Jeremy Dombeck and comes from a great coaching line.
Yeah, he was out at Bartlesville last year, and Bartlesville we actually cover next week. But Bartlesville went 2-7 in 2017, and then went 4-6 once he got there. So he improved the record by a bit, but it wasn't like it got crazy good. But it was obvious that Lee Blankenship knew what he was doing, and he's climbing up the ranks as one of those young coaches that could really be a good hire, and that's why Mustang brought him along. And I remember him saying that he really saw what Mustang was doing and saw their vision and thinks it's a great school to be at. And then even before Bartlesville, he was the head coach at Beggs from 2013 to 2017, where he went 48-18 overall, and they won the 3A state or made it to the 3A state final in 2017, and he was even Tulsa World's All Coach of the Year in 2017, so he's really got quite the resume for only being 32, 33 years old, and right now is sitting at an overall record of 65-30 coming into this game. So he's really got a good head on his shoulders, and he knows what he's doing. And then building this staff and coming over to Mustang, you got to imagine he's going to continue his winning ways.
Well, as we take a look at our schedule for the rest of the season here on YurView on our webcast side of things, next week our game will feature Bartlesville at Dell City. Then on September 27th, this may be one of the best games of the year at any class, as Bethany will play at Blanchard. Now, I understand Blanchard has already suffered a loss on the season, which is a little bit surprising. Jeff Craig has always had such a great program over there. They've won a state championship or two and made it to the finals before losing one other time. The week after that, on October the 4th, we'll have Sulphur at Purcell. And then the week after that, we'll feature the Altus Bulldogs playing at Noble. We'll have a bye week as far as our coverage is concerned on the weekend of the 18th. And then as we get deeper into October, we've got another matchup, which should be another dandy, Blanchard at Tuttle. So the Tri-City area getting a lot of recognition, a lot of play here in our games, and why not? I mean, when you talk about some of the best teams, the best classes in all of the state of Oklahoma, when you start talking about 4A and Blanchard and Tuttle and Bethany, that's a very tough group there, and a lot of those schools are bunched pretty well in the same geographic area. We'll wrap up the season on November the 1st. That's all the games that we have scheduled. That'll feature Lawton at Del City, and then a to-be-announced game coming up the final week of the season. So still plenty of great football coming your way here on YurView.com and also on the Cox channel as far as the TV side of things is concerned. High school football in the state of Oklahoma, there's not much like it. It certainly is a great sport to cover, and we are happy to bring it to you all. Our halftime score right now, Mustang on top of Edmond Sante Fe. They lead it by a score of 17-7. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, and we'll get ready for second half action before too long. Stay with us.
Our tradition for my football team is we dress up, shirt and tie. I had a tie, but I didn't know how to tie it. Usually I would have my dad help me, but he was deployed. I'm thinking, don't worry about it, my grandma should know.
He says, can you tie a tie? And I'm like, no. But we're on our way to Chick-fil-A.
I recognize them because they came into our store so much. Miss Bertha and Mr. Terrence, I'm like, of course, I'll help them out and show them how to tie a tie.
It wasn't just the tie, it's what was in your heart.
It's my pleasure. Doing good, man. You got it.
Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView, Cox Channel 93. Friday night, the Verdigris Cardinals will host the Stillwell Indians in Verdigris. 4A Stillwell and 3A Verdigris will be tuning up for district play, and it's homecoming under the Friday night lights in Verdigris. It's Stillwell and Verdigris Friday night at 7, live on YurView, Cox Channel 93. Kick off your Friday night with the Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
Hold on to me, don't let me go. Your first name is free, last name is dumb.
Drive a new Ford Expedition today with 0% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 cash for first responders. Hurry into your Oklahoma Ford dealer.
Dumb.
Well, as we come back, you can see both teams have made their way onto the field, going through their mandatory 3-minute session of getting loose once again after playing a first half of football and then going into the locker room, understanding what adjustments need to be made. Obviously, Mustang made some great adjustments after that opening drive by Sante Fe when they put 7 points on the board, because they've pitched a shutout since then, Dylan.
Yeah, it's been a lot of stops. I mean, we've talked about not only the 2 forced fumbles, but also that interception. Edmond Sante Fe just stomped down the field on that first possession and just can't seem to find their stride again now. And Mustang's defense has really stepped up to the task after that touchdown. Obviously, Sam Dollar said something to those guys on the sideline that got him riled up and ready to go. And at this point, it's just been all Mustang since that 5-minute mark of the first quarter.
So it'll be interesting to see how both teams come out here in this second half of play. When you talk about 6A football, I know from a conversation that I had with Don King on the east side of the state that Mustang is now the 4th largest school in the state of Oklahoma. For a long time, the 4 largest schools were all right there in that Tulsa area, with Broken Arrow being the largest, and then Tulsa Union, followed by Owasso, and then Jenks. And I guess Jenks has been supplanted there as Mustang has moved up to that 4th spot.
Well, if anything, I'd imagine it would have been Owasso got dropped down.
Do you think?
I think Owasso's a little bit smaller than Jenks. I may be wrong on that, but I know whenever I'm at the field, it feels like Jenks is bigger. When I'm at the high school, Jenks feels bigger. But yeah, it's really been quite an upswing for Mustang, and they just keep climbing. You got to imagine that they're just going to get even bigger.
Yeah, because they say that they have no intention of splitting their schools like the Edmond or the Moore and Norman school districts have. So you run into those multi-school districts, which you don't really have in Tulsa. But from my understanding, Broken Arrow is pretty much landlocked. They really can't put many more kids in there. So anyhow, we begin the second half as the kick is away. Mustang had it, and then it goes into the end zone. That's an automatic touchback, and the Broncos will bring it out 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Always interesting to see what type of adjustments were made at halftime.
Well, and we talk a lot about this Mustang defense. One thing that we haven't even really talked about is the fact that Edmond Sante Fe put up 41 last week. So it's not like this offense can't score. It's not like they're not capable of going down the field on some defenses. It just kind of speaks to the fact that Mustang has played really well, that Edmond Sante Fe was able to put up over 40 points last week, and now this week put up a goose egg since that 5-minute mark of the first quarter.
Running play to the left side, a violent collision after an 8-yard pickup. On the carry for Mustang, number 7, that is Harvey Phillips. Good gain on the first down play. Big collision. He'll take the ball once again, hit in the backfield, turns up the other way, and he'll get across the 30 to about the 32, 33-yard line, and that'll be enough for a Bronco first down.
Yeah, ran into his own offensive lineman, maybe just going up the wrong gap, or the offensive lineman got kind of shoved into his gap, and then hits the offensive lineman, says, well, I guess I can't go that way, bounces that out to the right side, and at the right time.
Dropping and throwing downfield, pass is complete. Hooking up with Tristan Plumley. And coming out throwing strikes is Hayden Conrad once again. So look at the numbers. I'm surprised that he was only 4 of 9 last week. Guess they were moving the ball so easily and so well with their running game that they really didn't feel the need to pass the ball as much. But he's certainly put up some good throws tonight and some good numbers as well.
Well, I also know that it wasn't just Harvey Phillips that had a pretty good game last week. Devin Martin had a really big run. I want to say it was a long, maybe 50, 60, 70-yarder. Took off to the end zone, put up 6 points. So, yeah, like you say, maybe it was just the fact that they had a really good ground game going, and now they are going to trust their quarterback to put it into the air.
Devin Martin, number 22 with the carry, and he's got first down yardage, and the Broncos open up the second half much the way that Sante Fe opened up the ball game, moving the football on the ground. And now they're in Sante Fe territory with the 1st and 10 from the Wolves' 34-yard line. Just underway here, second half action. Broncos and the Wolves, 2 top 10 teams in Class 6A1 coming into the contest. Conrad dropping the throw off the play action. Looking downfield, then finally throwing it away. Pass is incomplete. Good job by the Sante Fe defense that time, as they really gave him no options.
Yeah, and we've seen him make some good throws on the run. That's not the first time he's been flushed out of the pocket, but he seems pretty comfortable even letting it fly while he's on the move. So it's not too surprising that he let that one go, but at the same time, Edmond Sante Fe does a good job covering up the receivers, and he's just got to let that one go out of bounds.
Looks like there's a penalty. Perhaps ineligible receiver downfield. So 2nd and 15 now for the Broncos. As you get a good look right there at Hayden Conrad. He is listed at 6'6" and 220. That's a good-sized quarterback. Dropping the throw, going deep. And the receiver down there drawing double coverage. Intended for Tristan Plumlee. And just overshot everybody.
Well, and I wonder if they're kind of, as most football teams do, kind of boosting players just a tad bit, because Tristan Plumlee is listed as 6'4", and when I'm seeing him on the screen, he looks like he's probably more like 6'2". So they're probably boosting just maybe an inch or two just to make it sound more intimidating, but at the same time, he is a tall fella back there in the backfield, and he looks like he's a pretty hefty, pretty strong guy, so I'd imagine he's probably at least in the ballpark of those numbers.
Encroachment called against Santa Fe, so that gives them the 5 yards back. Now 3rd and 10 for Mustang from the 35-yard line in Santa Fe territory. Little trap play coming to the opposite side of the field, and flags fly in again, this time from the line judge. He saw something he didn't like.
And this looks like it may be against 70 on the hold. But when I was watching him, it didn't look like he did anything wrong necessarily. He took his defender to the ground and then kind of just sat on top of him. But it wasn't like it was in any way illegal.
Now they say it's going to be holding. That'll bring the ball back to the 42-yard line. Opening drive of the second half. And much like Santa Fe did to open the game, a time-consuming drive. Running play, right side. Gets a couple of yards on the carry there by Harvey Phillips. Good look at the offensive line for the Mustang Broncos. Big number 74 out there is Connor Leeper, 6'3", 310, 75. Ethan Bunch, 6'1", 275. And the quarterback. Looks like he's changing the play. Hayden Conrad. Straight drop, looks to throw. Downfield, pass was there. Looked like he had his man. Maybe just a little bit behind him, but the pass goes incomplete. And an interesting call here. You're almost in 4-down territory. Is Mustang. Line of scrimmage, 37-yard line in Santa Fe territory. And even though it's a 4th and 14, they're going to go for it here, or at least maybe try to draw them off, get a little closer, get a little help.
Well, maybe you do, just because on that last play, your wide receiver was pretty well open.
Yeah.
Just a little bit off the mark. So if you can replicate that on this play, well, never mind. We're going to punt it.
Right-handed thrower, left-footed kicker. Great bounce for Mustang. How about that?
That's the second time they've gotten me with that, and the first time they've gotten you.
It was almost like your Bellata golf ball on the green, backing up all the way to the 7-yard line. It's not the prettiest looking kick you've ever seen, but it's turned out to be effective so far tonight for Mustang, and they pin Santa Fe deep within their own territory inside the 10-yard line. The ball spotted at just about the 7-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Wolves as they come out for their first possession. Olsen on the first down carry, gives to Snoddy. I was going to say early we saw a lot of him, didn't see much of him later in that first half of play because Mustang was dominating control of the football.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting to see how this one's flipped. I mean, we talked about how Edmond Sante Fe was 5th in 6A last year. They won the matchup 29-14 between these two teams last year. But Mustang holds the lead on the series, 8-7. But it's really kind of interesting how Edmond Sante Fe had the lead last year and looked like the more dominant team on paper and even on the field. And now Mustang coming out here and really making Edmond Sante Fe look like they are kind of in a loss for answers, as Mustang has played really well on both sides of the ball.
Picked up 2 yards on the carry. It'll bring up 2nd down and 8 from their own 22-yard line. Olsen takes the snap. 3rd consecutive give to Snoddy up the middle. He'll pick up about 4 or 5 yards.
4 or 5 yards and 4 or 5 yak yards, those yards after contact, as the defensive lineman probably rode him for about 4 of those yards. Great run up the middle and a strong run. And what it does is it sets you up for a better field position on this 2nd down, so maybe you're not so far away.
2nd and 8. Snoddy in the backfield along with the quarterback Olsen. And Mustang jumped off sides. Encroachment will be the call. Number 8, Braden Jarman. Little too anxious on that play. And if you're a well-disciplined and smart offense and you can get that call to your advantage several times a night, well, right there they go from a 1st and 10 to a 1st and 5 type situation. Olsen has time, looks downfield, going deep, trying to hook up out there with the wide receiver intended for number 23, I believe, Angelo Rankin, but just beyond his outstretched arm.
Well, how about the defense on that one? Karsten Keene, just a sophomore on the coverage. A great job, great timing. He does that slick move where you kind of put that left hand on his hip and kind of use that as leverage to kind of pull yourself in front of the receiver and gets that right hand in there. Great job defensively by the cornerback, the young cornerback, I should add. He's still got a couple more years before he graduates.
Now from their own 33-yard line, Sante Fe trying to get some of those yards back. Handoffs. Snoddy goes over the 35 to about the 36, maybe the 37-yard line. And the Wolves continue on the march here. Very quick-moving 3rd quarter of play. Mustang leading at 17-7.
Well, I mentioned early on that Edmond Sante Fe likes to run out of the spread, kind of runs out of the shotgun quite a lot. And so I wasn't really sure how much the running back was going to be given the ball. But there's been a lot of ground game here for Edmond Sante Fe, not just from Snoddy out of the backfield, but even the quarterback, Jorgen Olsen, who's run a lot on his legs. Right there, he got a short pickup. It's definitely been interesting to see how they use the backfield and how they use their running backs in different packages of how they block and how they move the offensive linemen around. And it's coming into this game, I was expecting a lot more of a passing style offense.
Line of scrimmage now, their own 39-yard line. Play action, roll it to the right, throw out there. And underthrown, really didn't get enough on it, as his receiver was open, wasn't going to gain a whole lot. But still, almost looked like the ball slipped out of his hands a bit.
Well, that, and I was wondering how much he thought he was pressured. Sometimes you kind of see guys out of the corner of your eye or in your peripheral vision, and you think they're coming up at you really close, but maybe they're not as close as you think. And I think maybe that was one of those cases because he let that go pretty quick. I wonder if he thought someone was coming up on him, but really he had quite a bit of time to let that one go.
2nd and 10 now for the Wolves. Handoff straight ahead. Gains 2 or 3. Good second effort. He was stopped originally at the line of scrimmage. And Snoddy, who we called his name a lot earlier, not so much in that 2nd quarter, but he's certainly getting a number of calls here as we are already past the midway point in this 3rd quarter play. Mustangs still on top. They lead at 17-7. Sante Fe scored the first time they had the football and nothing since.
Look at how many guys are on that defensive line right there. 7 guys up there on the line.
They're calling something against Sante Fe. And now they're going to wave it off. Not sure what that's about. The back judge came up pointing at one of the up men, and the referee picked up the flag. All right, here we go. Low snap. Olsen picks it up, and he knows he's in trouble, and he's going to be taken down for a loss on the play all the way back to their own 35-yard line. They may have thought about going for it had it been a 4th and short situation, but now looking at a 4th down and 12, line of scrimmage at their own 35.
And you want to talk about a do-it-all kind of player. How about Colt Humphrey? Has some playing time back at the quarterback position, got some rushing yards. He's got an interception tonight, and right there, he's got a half a sack to his name.
Snap back kick is away. High sailing kick takes a bounce for the Wolves and then downed at about the 29-yard line. Nice job there on the special teams by number 21, Brandon Caraway. And that's where Mustang will put it in play, 1st and 10. Just about 4:20 left to go here in the third quarter. Broncos on top, leading it by a score of 17-7. Got an official timeout. It looks like it's going to be one of those water breaks that they deemed mandatory here in the early part of the season. That will allow us to break ourselves. Mustang on top, 17-7 on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week.
Saturday night and I just got paid. My heart say go, go. Have time 'cause Saturday night. Now I'm feeling fine. I'm gonna rock it up. I'm gonna rip it up. I'm gonna shake it up. Gonna ball it up. I'm gonna rock it up and ball tonight.
Drive the new Ford Ranger today with 0% financing for 60 months plus $2,000 total savings. Hurry into your Oklahoma Ford dealer.
Welcome back to Broncos Stadium. Steve Marshall, Dylan Rivera, and the entire crew from YurView bringing you all the action tonight. And we've got a good struggle of a ball game right here as Mustang has the football and a 5 or 6 yard gain off the carry. Ball carrier Harvey Phillips. As I've mentioned many times, Santa Fe scored the very first time they had the football, and they have had nothing since. Mustang has it right now. Quarterback rolling to his right. He seemed to have been able to throw very well on the run. Pass there complete to Khary Brown. That'll be enough for a first down all the way out at the 44-yard line.
Well, and add another acrobatic catch to his highlight reel. That one, he catches it way up in the air. He had to really climb the ladder to get up to that one. And a cornerback or a defensive back hits him from behind while he's in the air, and he still comes down with it.
He's putting on quite a display tonight thus far. Now you're looking at a 2nd down and 4 situation. Well, this is the replay from the previous play.
Well, and again, you see the quarterback kind of rolling out of the pocket. He likes to throw on the run, I'd imagine, because they continue to run plays where he is on the run, and he's on those rollouts, on those throws. And right there, again, a great catch by Brown, and he's only 5'10", so for him to get upstairs like that takes quite a lot of athleticism.
All right, now we have a interference call against Santa Fe.
Call for pass interference, Edmond Sante Fe.
So obviously that will help the Broncos and move the ball into Santa Fe territory. It's a big one as well, and they're going to bring it down all the way to the 40-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Mustang Broncos. Little confusion in the backfield this time. Oh, great block. Somebody got wiped out. One of those blindside blocks, and there's a flag down. I was about to say they've ruled that, kind of a penalty now in the National Football League. And I think that's going to be the case here at the high school level as he got walloped coming around the corner.
Well, and I think you see the right thing on the way that camera swung back. You could see on the sideline the coach looked like he put his arm around the guy and just said, hey, you know you can't be doing that. Instead of getting in his face and screaming at him about how, bonehead that play was, you just say, hey, I know what you were going for. I know that was the right play to make. Maybe just lighten up and make sure you get 2 hands on him instead of going through him and putting that helmet contact into him.
So, after a penalty on Santa Fe and then a penalty on Mustang, we get back to the action. Under 3 minutes left to go here in this third quarter. Got a whole lot of receivers up to the left side. A little confusion on the Mustang offense right now. Conrad gives, handoff, straight ahead. Going to get out to about the 45-yard line.
Well, I don't think Harvey Phillips has really had a quiet night per se. It's a very relative term. As last game, he's ran for 204 yards and 3 touchdowns, as we mentioned, on 13 carries, 15.6 yards per carry. I don't think he's had necessarily a quiet night tonight. It's just he has to try to play up to that expectation, and he hasn't quite done that, but still a pretty good game overall for him so far. He's done a lot of good things and picked up a lot of good yardage.
A little too much on that pass as it goes through the hands of the intended receiver, Brown. Stops the clock with just over 2 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. And let's see what Mustang is going to do now. Not a whole lot of scoring threats so far here in this third quarter. Game being played mostly between the 20-yard lines. Here's a running play, and there's a big opening. Running downfield and getting inside the 40-yard line. Big pickup, but they had so far to go in order to get the first down. It's not going to be enough for a first down, but at least now gives them an idea that maybe they're in 4-down territory.
And it was a good run. I believe he got the first down on that one, so it sets up what is now just about a 40-yard distance from the end zone.
Well, they still got to go 9 yards.
Really?
Right?
Well, yeah. I saw that first marker up there, and I thought he had gotten that first down. That's right, because the block, the penalty on the block.
So it's a 4th down situation for Mustang, and now we've got a flag thrown by the side judge, referee. Not sure what they're saying. Looks as though nobody's going to be penalized on the situation, so it is a 4th down and 10 for Mustang.
I don't want to say they're going for it because they'll probably just set up in this shotgun and then punt it again.
He's done that several times already tonight. As he drops deeper, you're exactly right. And he's been able to pin the opposition deep so far, but not this time. It'll come out to the 20-yard line, and that's where Santa Fe will put it in play. 1st and 10 as we have less than a minute to go here in this scoreless third quarter of play. Mustang still on top, leading it by a score of 17-7.
Well, what's so tricky about that play, I think I talked a little bit on it earlier, but going a little bit more in depth, is when you set up in that shotgun, whether it be 4th and 8 or 4th and 15, it's going to look like you're going for it. The defense is going to set up and be prepared for pass, and when you let it punt and you let it fly by the foot, well, the defense isn't going to be ready for it. You're not going to have a return man back there. It's going to end up just kind of sitting out and rolling out. Or in this case, obviously it went into the end zone, but you'd like to pin them deep there, and that's the idea. But when you set up in that shotgun, they're going to have to set up in, a nickel or a dime formation and be ready for that pass, because if I don't set up in that and I set up in a punt return formation, well, you're just going to torch me with a 10-yard pass and get a first down.
Pass complete for about a 7-yard gain as the clock winds down here. Final seconds of this third quarter play. They probably don't have to take another snap before the end of the quarter. They don't appear to be in any hurry as it winds down, and that will be going to be too premature as they do apparently get the snap off. Keeper on the play. Good call there And good misdirection as he's going to get it out to about the 40-yard line. Olsen with the carry there, and that will be the final play of our third quarter. Nice pickup. First down for the Santa Fe Wolves, and we'll take a timeout, come back. Fourth quarter action coming your way. 17-7, Mustang on top on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. So apparently a penalty before the clock ran out, and it looks as though they marked the yardage off after the penalty, and then they let the clock expire. Or did they?
Yes, this may be an untimed down right here.
So it's a penalty as Santa Fe has the football, running it to the right side of the field. Gains about 3 yards. So the penalty must have been against Santa Fe as they brought it all the way back to the 20-yard line. The carry there brings it out to about the 24, and that is the end of the third quarter play. 17-7, Mustang on top of Edmond Santa Fe on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week.
Tradition for my football team is we dress up, shirt and tie. I had a tie, but I didn't know how to tie it. Usually I would have my dad help me, but he was deployed. I'm thinking, don't worry about it. My grandma should know.
He says, can you tie a tie? And I'm like, no. But we're on our way to Chick-fil-A.
I recognize them because they came into our store so much. Miss Bertha and Mr. Terrence, I'm like, of course, I'll help them out and show them how to tie a tie.
It wasn't just the tie, it's what was in your heart.
It's my pleasure. Doing good, man. You got it.
Welcome back, everybody. We've played 3 quarters of football, and Mustang holding the advantage at home, leading Edmond Santa Fe by a score of 17-7. Both teams came in with a record of 1-0 here in the early season, and one of them is going to stretch it out to a 2-0 start, while the other will fall to a 500 mark at 1-1. As we look at the schedule for Mustang, they play at Westmore next week, then Norman North, then at Union. That's a tough 3-game stretch. For Edmond Santa Fe, they play at Edmond North, they play their Edlem rival Memorial, and then they play at UConn. So probably an easier schedule, you would think, for Santa Fe than Mustang going forward. Fourth quarter, first play. Looking downfield. Pass by Olsen is caught at about the 34. Ball comes out, but after the whistle had already blown.
That was 22, Talon Sheltron on that catch. And what I liked best was right after he got the catch, he was aware enough to bring it in and then make a juke move at a defender that was coming right at him. And he would have been hit maybe within a quarter of a second of catching that ball, but he was again, aware enough to see that defender coming at him, puts a juke move on him, and maybe picks up another yard or 2 after the catch.
Here's a good surge forward that's going to get him out for another first down play. Good strong running up the middle.
Man, every time they come to the line of scrimmage, I'm looking at 75.
I know.
You talked about how big he was earlier, but man, it's just every time they come out of the huddle, I'm looking at him.
He is massive. Playing that right tackle spot. Here's a screen to the far right side. Pass is complete as they hook it up there with number 23, Angelo Rankin.
Well, not only is 75's size impressive, you and I were talking about it. We were hoping maybe it was a typo almost that it says he's a freshman.
I know.
I hope that's not a freshman out there, because I'm scared to see what he's going to look like as a senior.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think Bill Beedenbow would be knocking on his door already. Playing the right tackle spot for the Edmond Santa Fe Wolves. Here's a running play off the right side, gets to midfield and then driven back, ball carrier there. was number 7, Ethan Heisch, with the carry. I believe that's the first time we've called his name so far this evening.
Yeah, a lot of the carries have been going to Snotty, letting him run up the gut, and maybe right here getting that second running back into the fold and changing things up, making a change of pace, making the defense think twice about how they're going to approach the runner.
Olsen tried to swing pass and get it to the man cutting across the middle, just beyond the reach, and incomplete, and that'll bring up a 4th down situation.
And the Mustang sideline looked like maybe they were looking for a unsportsmanlike there against number 88, as he kind of fell short of catching the ball, and it bounces up to his hands, and he kind of chucked it up in the air, and I could see Blankenship and maybe one of the other defensive coordinators out there saying, hey, you're just going to let him throw the football out of bounds like that? And the ref was saying, no, I'm not going to call that. I'm not calling that.
4th down, pass is complete. They get the necessary yardage for the 1st down. They get the ball there to number 88, Caden Atticus. And that'll keep the drive alive for the Santa Fe Wolves, who trail it by 10. Still a long way to go, as we're just under 10 minutes left to go here in play.
Well, I mentioned earlier that Edmond Sante Fe put up 41 points last week. This is a very capable offense. They can put points up on the board. We saw it in the first possession of the game. They can get down the field. They've just not been able to find it through the last 2 quarters. And so maybe here in the 4th quarter they can find the touch and get to the end zone.
Great tackle, wrapped up the feet there. I believe that was number 20, Joseph Sylvester. And a little kind of jet sweep pitch. With the man coming from the right side to the left side, he got near the line of scrimmage, and Sylvester took his feet out from under him, wrapped him up on a very fine play.
Well, that's definitely the best way to go at a speedy receiver like that. And Shetron is just wrap up those feet, because when you're fast, you still can't go when you don't have your feet.
Lost a yard on the play. Here's Snotty up the middle. He's going to bang forward for about 6 or 7 yards. One of the players lost their helmet for Santa Fe. Trotting off, that is Snotty, so he'll miss this next play.
He probably ran a good 3 or 4 yards and took the hit without his helmet. That's scary.
Third down and 4. But a fast-moving 4th quarter of play here. Everybody's kept it on the ground for the most part. 1st down yardage. Nice carry into the 20-yard line. Actually, I believe that was Snotty who stayed in.
He talked about the speed of the 4th quarter. It's been a speedy game all night long. A lot of these,
really has.
Both of these teams running the football quite a bit, and on top of that, it's just been speed offense. So we're just humming along.
Fighting his way forward. Snotty getting a lot of carries here on this particular drive. Santa Fe wants to make sure that they get within a touchdown. They would only need a field goal for that, but you know they're thinking they want 7 and make this a 3-point ball game. Then let their defense take over. Olsen looking to throw. Corner of the end zone. Defensive back never looked back for the football, and there's the penalty flag I was looking for. They tried to get it out there to big number 4, James Stevenson.
Yeah, but that's still kind of a dangerous play. I know you're drawing it up to where you're throwing it out to him, and that's what you want to do, and that's your number 1 target on that play. But at the same time, it looked like he kind of just got the snap and immediately looked out there and just waited a second for him to find the end zone and then threw it out there. And unless they knew that that quarterback was going to get pass interference called on him, that's still a dangerous play to let that ball go out to the end zone like that towards a wide receiver that's still covered pretty well.
So after the penalty, they'll spot the ball at the 8-yard line in Mustang territory. 1st and goal from the 8 for the Santa Fe Wolves. Olsen gives. Running play up the middle, down to the 5-yard line. That's Snotty, who's gotten a lot of carries here, especially on this drive, and a lot more in the second half than what he saw in the first half of play. But Mustang dominated play after that opening touchdown by Santa Fe, and they played keep away more or less. Now the Wolves doing the same thing. 2nd and goal from the 5. Olsen, snotty straight ahead, hit before he can even get to the line of scrimmage, and he's going to lose at least a yard, maybe 2.
Well, and how many red jerseys were in the backfield right there? It was probably 5 or 6 of them. That offensive line really could only get a push for just a moment, and then it was Broncos everywhere, and they charged forward and got to Snotty pretty quickly. They maybe got to the line of scrimmage, if that, but it looks like a loss of 1 totaled on the play.
So 3rd and goal now from the 7. Olsen pulls it back, rolls right, throws underneath, unable to catch the ball as he lost his footing there, as the intended receiver was James Stevenson. And now that's going to bring up a 4th down situation.
Well, and I don't know if he went through a full read on that play, because it looked like 22 Shetron had his arm waving in the air at his quarterback coming across the middle of the field from that from the top of your screen on that play. He was open, cutting across the middle as the linebackers were cutting towards the right side, following the wide receiver he ended up throwing it at, number 4. So he's got to make sure he goes through his progressions and finds the open receiver before he lets that ball fly.
Olsen is the holder on the play. The field goal attempt is on the way. It is up, and it is good. So Edmond Sante Fe cuts it to a 1-score deficit. There is a flag on the field, so hold on. You can see Olsen saying it is against Mustang. And if that's the case, I mean, do they want to maybe go for it? Or they always say you never take points off the board. He didn't look like he gave any decline, so they're going to stay down there and move the football. Half the distance to the goal line should put it inside the 5, right?
Yeah, it should put it probably right there around that 4 or 5 yard line.
Right. So personal foul call against Mustang. That's a 1st down. Yeah, you gotta take it now. And even though that field goal would have gotten them within a touchdown score, now they can score the touchdown, hold them on defense, get another touchdown, and win the ball game, or tie it with a field goal.
Well, and to somebody who maybe doesn't watch a lot of football, there is a difference between a stupid penalty and a smart penalty. And that's kind of weird to say, because a penalty is a penalty either way.
Right.
But that one right there was just not a smart penalty. Right there, you end up just giving up 3 points, and you say, okay, we've got a touchdown lead, 6 minutes left to go. And that one just not smart. Now you give them another chance at the end zone. And if they can get 7 points on the board, now it becomes an even closer game.
Going to keep it himself, go around the corner and get in the end zone. And the touchdown for Olsen. And now it's a 17-13 ball game, and now the extra point becomes very, very important.
Yeah, just an easy run up to the right side. It looks like most of the offensive line gets a push and kind of shoves them to the left, which makes that right side opening even wider. And just a couple of defensive backs over there on the right side, but they're not there in time. And it's an easy run into the end zone for Jorgen Olsen.
So now the extra point attempt as the snap is back, ball is down, kick is on the way, up and good. And now we have a 3-point ball game with just over 6 minutes left to go in the contest. Mustang 17, Edmond Sante Fe 14. It's your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. Kickoff when we come back. Well, we got a 3-point ball game now as Santa Fe takes advantage of the penalty after they made the field goal to make it 17-10. A personal foul call against Mustang. Moved the ball half the distance to the goal line, put it on the 4-yard line, and gave Santa Fe a new set of downs. And the very first play from scrimmage, quarterback Olsen keeps it, gets into the end zone. The extra point is good, and now it's a 3-point ball game with 6:14 left to play.
Well, and we started this game at 7 o'clock, which means now it is just past 9. It took them almost 2 hours to find the end zone once again. Mustang has played really well throughout this game and really kept Edmond Sante Fe from even getting close to the end zone for the most part. And right there, a critical mistake gives Edmond Sante Fe 6 points, and right here able to recover their own kick, and it'll be Wolves football.
To make sure we get the call from the official, they kind of punched it into an area where there weren't any players from Mustang, and that's a free live ball. Once it goes 10 yards, there's the signal from the official. As we take a look again, nobody got on it for Mustang. Nobody seemed to be in a big hurry about getting there, and Sante Fe is able to come up with the football. Let's see if we can figure out who it was.
Yeah, and that kick is right on the money, puts it right into the gap where just nobody can get to it. Nobody abates the runner there that's going towards the ball, and it's just easy sailing. And now the Wolves set up shop for another first down at the 40-yard line, and they're only down 3.
Olsen on the keeper gets the first down, gets about 14 yards on the carry, all the way down to about the 24-yard line. I don't know that I've ever seen a kickoff of that type that well executed, that they knew exactly where it was going to hit. I think it bounced twice, popped up in the air, and wasn't sure who was able to get on the football on that far side. We'll check our replay here as we progress to see and give credit to the young man that hustled over there and got it. But that's exactly how you draw it up.
Yeah, precisely how you do it.
So a substitution made as they chased one of the players off the field. Number 4 checking in is Stevenson, and a first down play for Edmond Sante Fe to give to Snoddy. He's got good yardage. He gets about 8, maybe 9 yards on the carry. And where it was a 17-7 game, 2 minutes ago, minute and a half ago, now Sante Fe has scored a touchdown, got the onside kick, and threatening to score to take the lead.
Well, what was even a 17-10 game looking like it was getting ready to be Mustang football, and now it's 17-14, and we're talking about Edmond Sante Fe being just 15 yards away from the end zone.
Now you almost have to wonder if you don't want to score too fast. Inside the 10, Snoddy with another carry and a good drive by the offensive line, opening up holes and giving him some running room.
Now back there in the background you can see the road fans that made the trip over to Mustang, the Edmond Sante Fe fan section, and man, they are loving it. They are on their feet. Not a single soul is in their seat.
Nope. So 1st and 10 for the Wolves. Olsen hit, spins, and then dropped right about the 9-yard line. It's actually a 1st and goal situation.
And they did a good job just evading that linebacker that came flying in. I believe that was number 8 for Mustang. Braden Jarman, one of my players to watch coming into this game. He's been relatively quiet tonight, but he's definitely made a couple of small impacts that you might see on film. And right there, busting up that play and making the quarterback try to scramble for a couple yards, and he was unable to.
Olsen on the keeper, into the end zone. Touchdown, Sante Fe. The Wolves get the perfectly executed onside kick, get control of the football, and they drive down the field with no problem whatsoever. Olsen takes it in for the score, and that puts Sante Fe on top as you take another look.
A 4th quarter 180, Steve. How about that? Edmond Sante Fe takes the lead now. The Wolves are on top with just about 5 minutes left to play, and Mustangs seem like they kind of were, I don't want to say resting, but it looked like they maybe got a little complacent and said, well, we've got the lead. We've been playing good football, and now this 4th quarter, Edmond Sante Fe said, well, hold on just a second, player. It's going to be a good game here.
Extra point is good, so Mustang has to have a touchdown or they will fall victim to defeat here this evening with just over 4 minutes left to play. 21-17, Sante Fe on top of the Broncos on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week.
Tradition for my football team is we dress up, shirt and tie. I had a tie, but I didn't know how to tie it. Usually I would have my dad help me, but he was deployed. I'm thinking, don't worry about it. My grandma should know.
He says, can you tie a tie? And I'm like, no. But we're on our way to Chick-fil-A.
I recognize them because they came into our store so much. Miss Bertha and Mr. Terrence, I'm like, of course, I'll help them out and show them how to tie a tie.
It wasn't just the tie, it's what was in your heart.
It's my pleasure. Doing good, man. You got it.
What a dandy ball game we've had here tonight. Edmond Sante Fe scores, and then the onside kick executed to absolute perfection. Let's see if we can identify who grabs it here. As you watch, he pops it over the front line. The second line doesn't react quick enough, and Sante Fe uses their athleticism and their speed to come up with the football. All I can tell you is it's a double-digit number.
Yeah, I saw 2 in there, and then he's just swarmed by his teammates. They're so excited seeing him recover that kick. And it ends up being an Edmond Sante Fe football. But, yeah, great job. And I guarantee you he's going to get some hustle points in the locker room after this one.
So that's the kickoff there after the touchdown. And now Mustang will take over with 3:56 left to play. Now Mustang has to have a touchdown. Obviously 3 points will not be enough, so that extra point that Sante Fe kicked after that last touchdown was obviously very important. They executed that quite well, and now the Broncos will take over 1st and 10 with under 4 minutes to play. And if you were to use a boxing terminology, you would have to say that Mustang is a bit dazed right now. Not sure what hit them.
Well, if we're going to be throwing out some other sports, how about maybe they were counting their strokes before they put it in the hole, a golf terminology there. You know, maybe they were saying, well, we've got the win already. We're up 17-7. We're playing better ball. And Edmond Sante Fe turns it up another notch, and now they've got the lead, and Mustang playing from behind with 3 minutes to go.
And they've got to go length of the field. We do know, and we have seen here tonight, that Hayden Conrad can throw a pretty good pass. All 6 foot 6 inches of him. He throws to the right side. Pass is complete. The receiver reverses his field, is able to get a yard or 2 extra, picks up about 3 on the play. That'll bring up 3rd down and 5 for the Broncos as the clock now ticking as we go under 3 minutes and 15 seconds left to play. Things slow down for some reason there as the Broncos looking to the sideline, want to make sure that they get the right play called. And they don't like what they see right now, and they want to take a timeout, and they want to talk about it. And that's a good time to do it because it's getting late, folks. The Wolves on top of the Broncos. They lead at 21-17. We'll be right back.
The Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Thursday night, the Moore Lions and the Norman Tigers meet again. These old rivals always put on a great show. Watch for Moore's Daniel Highshaw Jr. He's a Kansas commit. And Norman's Kate Horton committed to OU. The Lions and Tigers get together in Norman. Watch for Moore and Norman Thursday night at 7 live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Kick off your Thursday night with the Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
Great ball game here tonight. And we got a ways to go. Still 2:58 remaining. Big 3rd down and 5 coming up for the Broncos. And watch and see if they don't try to draw them off first here. And then maybe run the play that they're looking for. Hard snap count. Nobody jumped, and now you go to the alternate call. So I nailed that one.
Tony Romo right there.
Yeah, how about that? Now the play clock becomes an issue. Conrad looking to throw. Blitz up the middle. Has to throw on the run. We've seen him do that all night. And he finds the receiver downfield. Going to be taken down at about the 23-yard line. What a great toss. What a great feathery touch on the football as it's complete downfield as he hooks up there with number 18, Tristan Plumlee.
A beautiful play there. Tristan Plumlee up the sideline, like you mentioned. Such a great touch on that throw. And a 1st down, a big gain for Mustang. And now it's going to get really special.
inside the 10-yard line on the carry there, Harvey Phillips. What a nice touch on the football. And what a great throw by Hayden Conrad. Can't believe I haven't heard more about him. Of course, they've only played the one game, and they didn't necessarily need the passing game much. Here's a running play that's stopped at the line. He bounces outside, racing for the corner, and he'll get it in the end zone. Touchdown, Broncos.
That's not his first touchdown tonight either. He had the incredible catch earlier on, and now that one, he looks like he's running up the gut, says, I guess there's nothing there. I'll go outside. And there's nothing on the outside. No one there to stop him. He's got all day.
He literally bounced off number 70, Cade Williamson, 6'5", 260. It ran right, like he ran into a brick wall, bounced off, and then scurried to the corner, and nobody could catch him. Unreal. Extra point attempt on the way. Very crucial. It is good. And now with 2:26, as you can see, Mustang is elated. The coaches are out there jumping and giving the high fives. We've got ourselves quite a finish here. Broncos back on top. They lead by 3 on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week.
Hold on to me. Don't let me go. Your first name is free. Last name is dumb.
Drive a new Ford Expedition today with 0% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 cash for first responders. Hurry into your Oklahoma Ford dealer.
Welcome back, everybody. Just when it looked as though Edmond Sante Fe had come from behind and taken control of the game, not so fast. As the great throw by the quarterback for the Mustang Broncos. Watch him with the touch on this one. You just can't throw it any better. They were able to catch up to him right there at the very end, but that set up the touchdown for Mustang, and Mustang bounces back, takes the lead. We still have 2:20 left to play. Sante Fe needing a field goal to tie it or a touchdown to possibly win it.
Well, Steve, I'll tell you what, it's Friday the 13th. We got a full moon out there. A touch like that is scary. That's what that is. If you're Edmond Sante Fe, you got to be terrified knowing you take on a quarterback like this in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left in the game. He's going to take over the game. He's going to send Mustang down the field, and he's going to get him on the board. And just like that, the Broncos take the lead, and Edmond Sante Fe's playing from behind once again. 2 minutes to go, and now they've got, maybe 80 yards to go down the field to try to put up another score?
Kick return there by Talon Shetron as he's able to get it out to the 30-yard line. Still 2:16 to play. What a football game. Kind of lulled you to sleep there in the second quarter, the third quarter, and then boom, wake up.
Yeah,
got ourselves
scoreless.
a football game.
Scoreless third quarter.
Yeah.
Something completely different here in the fourth.
Olsen, the quarterback, takes the snap. Running play, straight ahead, nowhere to go. Broncos with a good stop. They're saying maybe a fumble on the play.
Yeah, ref threw his marker down on where the spot was. Mustang comes out with the ball. We'll see what the refs say.
Coming away with the football is Liam Krivanek, and it's going to be Mustang football. How about this finish? Watch again, see if we can find out what happened and where it was lost.
Well, here's Krivanek right here. He's up here at the safety position. So he's going to sprint in there and somehow come out with the football. I bet you it was right there. You could see one of the defensive linemen had a hold of his arm. And the ball was definitely in his right arm, and he had a hold of that right arm probably by about the bicep area. And probably just enough to kind of rip that ball loose. And Krivanek able to get in there and get that fumble recovery, so he's got quite the resume built for tonight. He's got quite a few tackles and now a fumble recovery here with just 2 minutes left.
Great finish, and we're still not done. Conrad given the backfield. Flag comes out. Got a feeling this one's coming back. Hit on the far side, driven out of bounds, but the flag way back in the backfield.
Penalty marker on the play.
And you could see some of those offensive linemen, maybe even the running back, engaged with those defensive linemen and those linebackers. And one of them just holding on a bit too harshly, a little bit too long. And referee right there on the call, maybe just a couple yards out from the play, so he had a good view of it and says, that's going to have to come back, guys. So 1st and 25, so it's a long way to go, but we're under 2 minutes now.
The ball is at the Mustang 43-yard line. And a flurry of scoring activity for both squads here in the latter minutes of this contest. 24-21, Mustang on top. They have the football. Let's see how they want to play it. Santa Fe defense moving all around. Conrad, handoff up the middle. Secure the football. Get both arms wrapped around it. Gets to the 40-yard line. Gained a few, not much, but big thing here is they force Edmond Sante Fe to use one of their remaining timeouts.
Yeah, you made the same point I was getting ready to make. This is where coaches are stressing 2 hands on the ball. Hold that thing as tight as you can, because we've seen what happens on the other side of the football with Edmond Sante Fe when you're carrying it like a loaf of bread.
So we've seen a little bit of everything in this contest, the way that it started, with Santa Fe going down the field and scoring in the very first possession of the ball game, then getting shut out all the way till the 4th quarter or till late in the 3rd?
4th quarter, yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't score again, and then both teams trading touchdowns back and forth. We've seen some great pass plays. We've seen turnovers. We've seen great catches tonight. A little bit of everything in this contest here, and hopefully you've enjoyed it as much as we have enjoyed bringing it to you.
Well, we knew coming into this game this was going to be interesting. Like I said earlier, Oklahoma and even Squirtle knew that this was going to be a fun one. And so you definitely got your money's worth if you paid for a ticket tonight.
Colt Humphrey in at the quarterback position more as a running threat, keeps it himself off the right side. Gets it to about the 30-yard line. And they'll stop the clock once again. See how many timeouts they have remaining. We know that they've used 2 here in just the last little bit. Not sure if they have 1 more left or if that's it. But both teams will retreat to the sidelines to get some final instruction here with about 1:40 left to go here. And Mustang trailed early, led through most all the 2nd and 3rd quarter. Edmond Sante Fe regained the lead, only to have Mustang get it right back. And you'd have to think the turning point was probably the onside kick that Mustang recovered. And if you were ever to draw up an onside kick on how it's supposed to be kicked, recovered, the execution on that is just phenomenal.
Well, and he didn't really show up until the 4th quarter, but my big friend Mo came out at that moment. That's where he was right there in the 4th quarter. He showed up a little late to the party, but Edmond Sante Fe built it up and took the lead, and just like that, Mustang ripped it away, not only with putting up the points and making it 24-21, but then the fumble to follow just a couple of plays later when Edmond Sante Fe's on the offensive side of the ball. The Broncos came to play today, I'll tell you that much.
Colin Oliver with the stop defensively. Santa Fe uses their 3rd and final timeout. Mustang still has 2 timeouts remaining in the contest, but Santa Fe is out of timeouts, and now you're looking at a 4th down and 9 situation. So if you can get one of those pooch-type punts to pin them inside even inside their 15, 10 would be great. And Mustang see if they, or Santa Fe see if they sell out and go for the all-out block on the punt attempt, or if they try to get the return, because we know that their quarterback can certainly take them down the field in a hurry as well. This one's not over by any means.
Yeah, putting them at the 30-yard line right now and it being 4th and 9, you can't go for it because you're giving up too good a possession, I think. I think you need to punt it. Like you said, the pooch punt is probably the best way to go. And Edmond Sante Fe should probably rush as many as they can here.
Well, they thought they would use a little misdirection and fool them on it. They did not get that successfully. Clock will stop on the change of possession.
Well, here's the question is how many timeouts does Edmond Sante Fe have? It's got to be either Zippo or 1.
Yeah, they have 0. I saw the scoreboard in the background just a while ago.
So you've got a minute 32, no timeouts. You've got to get down the field effectively. Anytime you make a pass, it's got to be on target. You got to get out of bounds. If you're rushing the ball, you got to get out of bounds. It's got to be using those sidelines and getting down the field that way until you get down into the red zone.
Olsen back to throw. Near sideline. Pass is complete. Did not get out of bounds. They have to hurry to the line of scrimmage. Clock moving as we go under a minute 15 left to go in regulation. Santa Fe with no timeouts left. Olsen looking left all the way, is hammered as he throws the football, nearly intercepted. Almost taken away there by number 55 on the Mustang defense, but unable to come up with the football. The pass is incomplete. The clock stops. That was Judson Rowland.
We've had a lot of nominees for play of the game, but that would have sealed the victory right there, and that definitely would have been right up there with those plays that we've seen tonight, and it would have been the play of the game had he pulled that interception off.
Now again in trouble, stumbling forward, reaching out. It's going to be very important where they spot the football. Looks like they're going to spot it shy of the 45-yard line.
Yeah, he went down and tried to reach the ball out, it looked like, and as he hit the ground, knees first, and then hit the ball on the ground, the ball popped out because the turf hit it. And so they'll spot him where his knees were originally down first.
Olsen give up the middle. Snoddy fighting forward, gets into Mustang territory, gets the first down. Olsen screaming, wanting to get the play moving because they cannot stop the clock. Line of scrimmage will be the 47-yard line in Mustang territory. Hold on to your hat, folks. Mustang shows blitz. They come with it. Olsen scrambles out. He's going to have to run it downfield. Picks the right spot, gets out of bounds. And we'll check the clock to see exactly how much time is remaining, as they're going to spot it at about the 35-yard line. That's doable.
Well, and you could even maybe just get a 5-10-yard gain. Again, you'll need to go to the sideline, but a 5-10-yard gain and maybe put yourself to where you're in field goal range at least, and let your kicker put you into overtime.
Another blitz. Mustang coming, and they get the sack. That's huge.
No timeouts. Clock's going to run. That should be the end of the game right there. I don't think they're going to have time to spike this ball.
Get the snap and spike it. Is that it? It looks like that's the ball game. I mean, it was right there. Hard to tell if the clock had run out or not. We're still watching the referee, and he is explaining. And Mustang is celebrating. It looks like the linesman is picking up a flag. Hold on, everybody.
Well, I don't know if Edmond Sante Fe got to the line in time. It looked like one of the receivers was still coming into the play, but they're going to let it go, I think, and just pick up the flag.
What a crazy game. What a great finish. So happy we could bring you the action tonight. From Mustang, the Broncos rally. They come from behind, and they defeat Edmond Sante Fe. Our final score here tonight, 24-21. What a great game. We'll come back, wrap this one up, take a look at some of the other scores for you on our post-game show. Stay with us, everybody.
Hold on to me. Don't let me go. Your first name is free. Last name is dumb.
Drive a new Ford Expedition today with 0% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 cash for first responders. Hurry into your Oklahoma Ford dealer.
Our tradition for my football team is we dress up, shirt and tie. I had a tie, but I didn't know how to tie it. Usually I would have my dad help me, but he was deployed. I'm thinking, don't worry about it. My grandma should know.
He says, can you tie a tie? And I'm like, no. But we're on our way to Chick-fil-A.
I recognize them because they came into our store so much. Miss Bertha and Mr. Terrence, I'm like, of course, I'll help them out and show them how to tie a tie.
It wasn't just the tie, it's what was in your heart.
It's my pleasure. Doing good, man. You got it.
Welcome back, everybody, and there you can see a very jubilant Mustang football team, band, student section, crowd. What a great football game here tonight on YurView as the Mustang Broncos rally from a deficit. They gave up the lead late in the game to Edmond Sante Fe and then came back and won it by a final score of 24-21. Quite possibly the best game that we've called, not just this year by any means, but even the last couple of years that we've been streaming these games for YurView on the Cox High School Hub. Let's take a look at the highlights. Let's go back to the beginning part of the game, and Sante Fe is going to get on top early with a touchdown here.
Yeah, they charged down the field, made it look easy on this Mustang Broncos defense, and maybe it was just like, oh, well, maybe UConn couldn't find the answer because Edmond Sante Fe just walked down the field and within just a few minutes put up 6 points, and that would be the last time they scored, though, for quite a while.
So Sante Fe leading 7-0, then a field goal coming up for the Mustang Broncos. Kick is on the way, it is up and good. And Mustang now cuts into that lead, and Sante Fe is on top 7-3. And then a big interception coming up as Mustang playing some good defense here tonight, holding Sante Fe to just the 21 points.
Yeah, as I talked about in the second and third quarters, it seemed like Mustang's defense really kind of kicked into gear. And right there, the interception from Colt Humphrey, he's just charging up, trying to get a blitz, put some pressure on the quarterback, and at the right time jumps up, 2 hands in the air, picks it off.
And then Mustang gets their first lead of the game on the touchdown that you're going to see here. This gives the Broncos a 10-7 lead. And that's one of the best passes we've seen all year.
One of the best catches we've seen as well. He's doing a 180, spinning towards that backside as he catches it, puts 1 foot in the dirt, and gets 6 points for it. That was a great job by both the quarterback and receiver on that play.
Mustang is able to extend their lead and go up by a score of 17-7 on the next touchdown that we're going to see here for the Broncos.
Yeah, and this is one of those volleyball-type plays. We threw it out to the left side. You'll see one of the receivers tip it, and in the back of the end zone you can see number 18, that's Plumley back there, Tristan Plumley. He's able to snag that one and put 6 points on the board, and you could see how excited his teammates were for that one.
Mustang on top at the intermission, 17-7, and then we pick up play in the second half. Mustang has the football, and we're going to see a crazy catch here coming up for the Broncos as we watch quarterback Conrad here with the completion.
It was number 10, Khary Brown. The throw maybe just a little bit too high, but somehow he climbs the ladder and comes down with it. He's only 5'10", keep that in mind, so he's shorter than maybe your average receiver, and he's able to get upstairs for that one and pulls that one home.
And then we continue our highlights here, and this is going to be a touchdown for Edmond Sante Fe as Olsen keeps it and walks into the end zone. Easy score for the Wolves.
And what you don't see right before that, it was a penalty that gave them that first down right there at the 4-yard line, and so they were able to come and capitalize off of that and get 6 points on the board, and right there is where the game got really interesting.
All right, next up we're going to see an onside kick here by Edmond Sante Fe, and let's see what happens on this one here.
Well, we talked about that's exactly how you draw it up, and that is exactly how you draw it up. Put it right on that 40-yard line, and there wasn't any Broncos around really to get to it. One of them maybe about 5-10 yards out, but his assignment maybe was to go forward a little bit more and create a block, and he was thinking it was maybe going a little further out so his guy behind him could get to it. But before his guy behind him could get to it, the Edmond Sante Fe kickoff team gets to the ball first.
That leads to a Wolves touchdown, as you're going to see right here, as Sante Fe is able to fight back and take the lead once again.
Yeah, another quarterback rush to the end zone. So he's got 2 touchdowns to his name just off of his legs. And right there takes the lead, 21-17.
And then Mustang trying to battle back. Watch this throw right here. This is pretty.
Yeah, we talked about the touch on that one. And that one, I have a feeling, actually, that Plumley was probably running more of a crossing route from that left side, got to the sideline, got stuck, saw his quarterback in trouble, said, oh, I've got to do something, and started to just kind of run down the field. And at the perfect time, because at that point, Hayden Conrad looks up the field and sees him, just chucks it deep and puts just the right amount on it, puts it right in the breadbasket, and we got a first down.
And then Mustang would take that, convert, and get into the end zone and take the lead as he bounces off to the outside and into the end zone.
Yeah, and a couple of the defensive linemen look lost on that one because they're getting blocked, and then they get off their block, and the running back's not in the hole that he was supposed to be in. All of a sudden, he's outside, and he's already putting 6 points on the board. So now we're talking about a 24-21 game. I've only got about 2 minutes to go down the field and score.
And then we'll see how this game ends up finishing here in these next couple. You can see Santa Fe has the ball on offense, and watch number 11 right there. He's going to be the young man that comes up with the fumble recovery that is key to the victory here this evening.
Yeah, and I couldn't quite tell who it was that got their arm in there. It looked like it was maybe a 44 or a 54. Has his arm in on the tackle, and looked like he maybe just grabbed that right arm where the football was and ripped it out, and that was just enough for number 11 coming out of the safety position, really, to come in and get that in Liam Krivanek.
So a great game here tonight. We hope that you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. This will be one of these games that both teams will use the rest of the season. For Mustang, they can say, we're never done. We can always fight back and we can win it. And for Santa Fe, you can always say, hey guys, it's not over till it's over, as both teams will take from this game here the lessons and learn from it as the season progresses. So Mustang moves to 2-0 in the season. Santa Fe falls to 1-1 as Mustang comes from behind and wins it. Final score here tonight, 24-21. My thanks to my partner, Dylan Rivera. Also thanks to the guys in the field doing a great job. Brad Shelton, Riley Cowan, and Tanner Wade helping us back here in the studio along with Mark Jeffries. I'm Steve Marshall. We'll see you next week on the Cox Game of the Week, the Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week here on YurView.